2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Friday the 13th. You may only see it once, but that will be enough. Friday the 13th. Rated R.
And here we go. We are live. Wednesday Night Live Horror 365. I am your host, the mouthpiece of the Northeast, Jimmy J. And we have a stacked lineup for everybody today over here. There we go. The man himself, VP Horror 365, with the anesthesiologist. We have
Salute.
Wolfman. Give a big woo to Ian. Welcome back, Mr. Ian, the Wolfman, King of the Monsters, here, Universal Monster Specialist. We have Mr. Gabe Simbalista joining us today, my man Gabe. Welcome to Horror 365. And of course, the newest Horror 365 Final Girl. I'm excited about this one right here.
Yay. Hi,
Sammy,
everybody.
Joe, welcome. How we doing?
Not too shabby. Chasing.
How am I feeling with my hands? Best appendage to feel with. Safest, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I would expect you would be feeling with your hands.
I hope so. Yeah.
That's it. Well, and we are. And
Salute everybody.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, today, guys, we're talking 45 years. 45 years of Friday the 13th in this iconic film. And I had it playing somewhere in the background here. So I guess I didn't pop it on in time. You know, it's funny because I said I was going to be early today, and I was, but I'm still late. And I think we started later than ever today. But let's see. Let's go to the chat, see who we got. Of course, Mama Swift.
Yeah, let's see the chat.
Up in here. She got some links that she sent up in here. Horror convention calendar.
Hey, Ma. Thanks for coming out, Ma.
Thank you so much. Let's see. We get this adjusted over here, guys. All right. And she popped up in the South Carolina Horror Convention. Thanks, Ma, for dropping all these links up in the chat. Check that out on.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
My man, Mr. Matt Griffin and the missus. What's going on?
Oh, we got Matt and Nicole. What's the dilly? Thanks for coming out. Appreciate you.
And I want to get everybody's thoughts here today as well on Friday the 13th. This franchise as a whole, we're going to get into it. And of course, Johnny Sparks.
Oh, Johnny Storm.
We're doing it. I'll be watching from the car there.
Oh, he's still in the city.
Ray, what's up? Big Ray, what's up?
Ray, what's up, Ray? That's my cousin right there. Thanks for coming out, Ray.
I appreciate you. Man of renown. Okay.
Man of renown.
What's going on?
Salute. What's the deal? Thanks for coming out. Thank you. Appreciate it.
What else we got over here? Rebecca Hope. Hey.
Rebecca, how you doing?
What's going on?
We got the mermaid in the building. Under the floorboards. What's up? What's going on? John and Eric under the floorboards.
Nemo Burns is in the building.
Nemo.
Listen, we searched all over the place, but I could finally say we found Nemo. Okay.
We found Nemo. That's it.
Gabe, pull one of your numbers, Gabe.
Brooklyn Diva. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for coming out.
What's going on?
Hello.
Tony.
I actually have to ask, do any of you remember the
Tony
Finding Nemo? There was another one, a Little Nemo, that predated Finding Nemo. It was more of a Disney meets horror Fantasia type of fantasy thing.
Oh, really?
Do you remember that? Little Nemo?
No, I don't remember that.
No?
I remember Little Mo with the Gimpy Lake.
No. Well, it's sort of like how, I'll be honest, you know the movie Frozen by Adam Green?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it predated Disney's Frozen. So all my friends who don't watch horror were talking about Frozen, and I'm like, you guys don't watch horror. And then I realized, and this is before I knew what the hell Frozen was, the Disney movie, and it was pretty awkward. So, but like, it's the same thing with Little Nemo and Finding Nemo. Like, I grew up with Little Nemo, and then everybody loves Finding Nemo, including my generation. Very few people remember Little Nemo.
Yeah,
wow.
Well, you know what, Gabe? We're finding Jason Voorhees under the lake somewhere. We're gonna be diving right into that, into Friday the 13th, and I definitely want to get everybody's thoughts on all this. There's still people chiming up in it. Oh, look at this, my man under the floor.
Oh, thank you. Oh, we got Killer B in the house. Killer B, what's up?
You never know what can happen when Killer B's in the house.
Oh, all you know is nothing but trouble. Nothing but trouble.
Somebody's gonna get stung.
He drops a bomb and then he leaves and then he just causes chaos. And it's controlled chaos, but it's
black and yellow, because he's a bee.
Black and yellow.
Oh man, there we go, Brooklyn. Okay, ski lift.
So about Frozen, the ski lift. Yeah.
There it is.
Great
All right,
movie.
guys. So we're gonna get rocking in here. Friday the 13th.
Let's get it.
May 9th, this Friday, Friday the 13th, had been released, and I don't think they knew how big this whole thing was going to be and how much it contributed to our killer community over here. I'm going to ask everybody, go around the table here. When was the first time that you guys seen this film, Friday the 13th? Start with Swift.
Oh, man, you know me. The first time I saw Friday the 13th, oh, man, I was probably 3 years old or something like that. Maybe 2 years old, 2, 3 years old. Mama Swift got me started early, so I remember it my whole life,
Okay, 2, 3 years old. Gabe, what about you?
To be brutally honest, it was probably in my probably when I was in like early preteens. Because I started horror when I was 5, but I started before I even watched the Freddy movies and the Jason movies and the Michael Myers movies. I was watching Chucky and Aliens. So I don't really remember exactly the first time I saw the first Friday the 13th, but I remember I would rent each one from Blockbuster, throwback, every time I wanted to see the next one. And I remember seeing the covers of the movies before I even watched it and like wondering, that looks so cool. I want to figure out what that's all about. I go to Blockbuster and always seen the tapes, but never actually seen the movie. And then I got to see the movies and I fell in love with them. So yeah.
Awesome. Sammy, what about you?
So I was kind of like a late bloomer with Friday the 13th. I think I was like maybe middle school, even early high school. It wasn't, honestly, you judge me all you want. It really wasn't like the forefront for myself or my family because they're all horror fans and stuff. But I definitely did enjoy it. It just, unfortunately I wasn't able to experience it, at a earlier age, like, you guys did, but yeah. So pretty much middle school, freshman year.
Okay. All right. Middle school, freshman year. What about that? Ian Wolfman. When was it, buddy? First time.
I was probably 11 or 12. And much like Gabe, I was interested. I was scared of stuff when I was a kid, but you hit middle school and you're kind of like, oh, I'm interested in the stuff that kind of scared me when I was younger. So, I'd take trips to Blockbuster and stuff. And that was one of the first big ones I remember renting, watching with my folks, and it scared the shit out of me. And I absolutely loved it. So
Thursday night and Saturday night rituals was going to Blockbuster.
Yeah. Yep.
It was the week. Fridays. It usually was Fridays for me.
Well, I was Jewish, so for me it was Thursdays.
Yeah, Thursday would have been better because you know what? You probably would have got ahead of the line because everybody was there Fridays. It was all
the good shit was gone on Fridays, man.
Yeah, man. I always missed a lot of these, and I had to wait, and then you get upset. How many copies? This guy hasn't returned it yet. I'm going to his house. Give me his information.
That's right. That's right.
Computer, what's going on? No, but that was wild, man. And I seen this film. Oh man, I had to be first Friday I seen. I think I told everybody was Jason Lives. And then after seeing that, I was like, I got to see the rest because I said, wait a minute, this is part 6. Like, where's the first 5? And so I'm like, all right, started from the original, and I don't know what it was. It just didn't. When I first watched it, I wasn't a fan. I really wasn't a big fan of it. Like, it didn't draw me in. Like, I know people they're gonna shank me through the screen here, but I think it was because like I see Freddy, and it was just. Nightmare on Elm Street, the original, was like, oh wow, this is crazy. That hooked me, and then Halloween, and then the first Friday didn't do it until like later on it grew on me, and I'm like, oh, this is deep because it just goes to show you, the extent that a mother would go for her child, for her son, like the connection between a mother and a son, and this is fitting this week because it is Mother's Day weekend, and
all right, all you mothers out there,
we are celebrating Mrs. Voorhees this weekend. And, I know somewhere out there in the woods, whether it's Pennsylvania, Wyoming, wherever the hell, whatever woods you're living in, Jason is lurking. He's waiting. He's getting revenge for what happened in this original right here, 1980. Okay, decapitation of his mother. If somebody got your head, chop your mom's head, what are you going to do? Okay, what are you guys going to do? Everybody, if somebody chopped your head, your mom's head off, decapitated her, you're going to want revenge.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Beast mode.
This is what we see.
I want justice, not revenge. I mean, revenge is mean you're just on a bloodthirsty killing spree to
I would
Yes.
be.
It's more
Yes.
than revenge.
Yes.
No, okay. I know. I want revenge. That's what I want. I want machete to the skull. I don't care the man's in a wheelchair. Part 2. Boom, right down the steps. Okay? Somebody's getting it. Okay? I'm
Yeah.
in the pool. It doesn't matter where you are. Nobody's safe. Everybody.
Yeah, nobody's safe.
Somebody hurt my mom.
Everybody.
That's it. And it's Mother's Day weekend. And I'm telling you, we'll get into that later on down the line. The rest of the season.
And they have the chutzpah to have sex after killing her. Yeah, it's terrible.
No. But okay, so what I'm saying is with this original, when you seen this movie for the first time, you guys all seen this movie. Did you see any other parts previous, or this was the first?
The first one that I remember is Friday 13th 2. That was the first one that I remember watching. I remember Jason with the sack, with the sack on his head. And then I remember part 3, 3D, with the hockey mask and everything. I actually saw Friday the 13th, the original. I actually watched it when I was about maybe 5 years old and refreshed my memory. And I'm like, oh, it was the mother. And so I had seen it before that, but I really remembered when I rewatched it, when I gave it a rewatch, because I remember it's so crazy. One of the things that were burned into my memory was in part 2 when he was stalking the girl and she peed on herself on the floor. You remember that part? That was burned into my memory as a 3-year-old.
I think there's a rat under the.
Yeah, the rat was right next to her face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I watched the original. I rewatched it, and I really remembered it, and it refreshed my memory rather. And I loved it. I loved it, and I wish I didn't really know what happened at the end, because that twist. Imagine experiencing that twist, going in blind, experiencing that twist at the end, who the killer was. It was nuts.
Yeah, no, and that's what got me the first time I seen it too, and that's what was cool about this film is you didn't know who was doing these killings. This was to me this was the original Scream, in a way. I don't know, maybe it's a little crazy to say that.
Somewhat, yeah.
In some way, it's okay, these people are you're seeing them getting killed, but you don't know who's doing the killing. Your thought? I'm gonna get to Wolfman real quick. Wolfman, what are your thoughts on this, the original, the OG Friday the 13th overall? Any favorite moment or part of that film, or anything that stands out to you?
Yeah, you got Savini in there. He'd done a few things before this, but this was big, noteworthy. And this was the first time an independent horror film was picked up by a major studio, Paramount. And there was some bidding, there's a small bidding war and stuff, but this movie's a big deal, and it was simple, and Sean Cunningham, he wanted to he just wanted to capitalize on the success of Halloween. He's let's just make a Halloween knockoff, essentially. And I think that's really cool, because it's imitation's the greatest form of flattery, and so it's what the hell, we're inspired by Halloween. He takes this ad out in Variety, while Victor Miller is still writing the script, and they're they had all their eggs in one basket, long before they had any substantial ka-ching. It's just wild that this movie blew up the way. I mean, so everything had to work perfectly. You get this great cast. You get Manfredini's score. You get Tom Savini in there. You get Betsy Palmer, who thought this was absolutely insane.
Kevin
You know,
Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon did, yeah.
I'd say far and away that's my favorite kill. I mean, that's just like holy crap, you know. Just absolutely bonkers. But you know, that's at the core level, it's a pretty simple story, but that twist at the end, it just packs such a punch. And
Which twist are you referring to? That it's the mother, or that he's also alive at the end? Spoilers.
I'd say that's the mother. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But still, far and away, like one of the greatest jump scares of all time. I remember, you know, I'm 11 or 12 and watching it. When he jumps up out of that boat, I was never more scared of anything in my life when I saw it. Like I had to get up and like walk out of the room. So it's just, I can't honestly think of any 80s slasher horror film, however you want to, you know, subclassify it. I can't think of any other 80s horror film that cast a larger shadow than Friday the 13th. I mean, far and away. Like it's got to be Friday the 13th.
Facts.
Really well said, 100%. And yeah, you know, you talk about Savini. I mean, there were so many. It's like the stars were aligned in this one, and then you know the kills here. I mean, I did speak about that. Like when you watch like the 4K, you can kind of see the discolorization and Robbie Morgan, like you know, by the tree, and even Kevin Bacon. But I mean, overall, I mean, the twist at the end, like you said, that jump scare. Okay, my heart came out of my my heart. It was just I went, oh man, when I never forget that when I first seen that. And but Betsy Palmer. Okay, Sammy, I want to go to you with this one. Gabe, I'm coming to you soon. Sammy, what like seeing this and seeing the mom being the one that's doing the killing, did you sympathize with her? I mean, like what was your thoughts when you found out it was his mother doing this as a woman? Like, was this something that you would do for your son?
For sure, because like that natural instinct of anger is gonna, you know, build up inside of you, and you're gonna have the most like diabolical like aspect to, you know, express yourself. You're gonna do like crazy things to, you know, get your point across and do the most extreme things. But I definitely was like when I knew that like that curveball was going to happen, I'm like, yeah, no, I feel like that's going to be the mom for sure. Because like growing up for me, like my parents like raised me off of like, don't be surprised by like curveballs and horror movies. You know, there's always a twist, you know, just like focus on that. And that motive, you know, gotta give it to her. Like definitely evil, but you know, as a woman, like if I had a kid, I would probably maybe go to that extent, you know, in the, you know, horror realm. You know, that's a great character. The way they executed it was like perfect. The acting was just like spot on. And I feel like if maybe you weren't like a horror fan per se, and you're just like observing like that movie as an onlooker, you may not have noticed or realized like, oh, it's the mom, you know?
Yeah. Betsy Palmer, just those facial expressions, and you see it right there. Like, just look at it. Look how sick. Kill him, mommy. Kill him. I was gonna go do my She looks.
She did a great job.
Yeah.
And if you look close, I just want. Oh, sorry. I'll wait till.
No. Go ahead, Gabe.
No, I just wanted to mention about, because we're talking about the scene where she's showing the scenes from the scene where she gets decapitated. I watched Eli Roth's History of Horror, and there's like a scene where the decapitation was actually Tom Savini's shoulders and hands, and you see, if you look closely, you can see the hair on the hands, her hands, which is really Tom Savini's hands, all the black man hair.
Oh man.
No, but what I wanted to say was about. I knew somebody ruined it for me before I saw the first one, so I knew what was going to happen. However, I still think of the 80s, the holy trinity of the three 80s slasher films, that of the one that had the greatest story,
yeah,
and the one that had the twist the twist that actually stayed in the story. You know, that as opposed to Nightmare on Elm Street, which had that ending that didn't end up playing out and throughout the sequels. The Friday the 13th had the best twist and the best story, in my opinion. So, in my opinion, Halloween had the best soundtrack and ambiance. Friday the 13th had the best story and twist, and Nightmare on Elm Street had the best concept, the whole getting you in your dreams.
Yeah.
So they all have a different setting. One is in a camp where kids are supposed to feel safe and have fun. One is in where you're babysat at night. The other one is in your own bed, in your own
bed. Yeah.
You have no control.
Yeah.
So I like that they all set up the norm for all the horror, all these slasher films, not just slasher, but a lot of horror films that came after.
Absolutely.
And not just the franchise themselves, but that first film. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of the first Halloween compared to the sequels. Same thing with Friday the 13th, the same thing with Nightmare on Elm Street. But I admit, and I stand by, that they reinvented horror forever. They invented the genre. They reinvented. They birthed. They didn't just reinvent. They birthed the parts of the genre, the elements and subgenres for the genre forever. So
very well said. Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's a very good point, Gabe. And I want to go to some of the comments. I just want to see what people are talking about. Chiming in.
See some comments, baby. Let's
Get
go.
to them. Let's see. What do we got? See where we left off.
I want to hear this.
All right.
See
Nemo
what they're talking
Burns.
about.
6th grade was Freddy versus Jason with Kelly Rowland. Yeah, Kelly Rowland. Yeah.
Ooh,
That was a good one,
Kelly
too.
Rowland.
Freddy versus
I
Jason.
liked it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
liked it.
Nose.
What was that? Ian?
Yeah.
I said, got your nose.
Got your nose. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
I saw that one in the theater.
James Wadgen. I hope I pronounced it right. Wadgen.
James, what's up? How you
Shout out
doing?
to James, man, he has a killer book coming out on Friday the 13th. I want to give him a shout out real quick. Check him
Really?
out. He's an author. The Restless Few. It's coming out
The
Friday the
Restless
13th.
Few.
Grab
Nice.
your
All
copy.
right.
James, want to shout him out. Appreciate you jumping on here. Killer Reaction.
Yes.
The first time I saw Friday the 13th was the day before a class camping trip. Oh, that's wonderful.
Oh,
That is, wow. Okay, I wonder how that went down. So 1 and 2 had the worst dream of my life. That's it.
Oh, they lined you up.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. Oh my goodness.
They
I
lined
would
them up.
reminds me of the time I watched Train to Busan on a train, or Final Destination on a plane.
no, please don't ever mention Final Destination. I don't even want to. Okay, and we got to talk about that. And 2 weeks from now, that's the discussion. The Bloodline recap and the franchise review, and this is going to get crazy. But let's get this some more. Okay, James also says Friday 13 Part 6 forever. Yes, sir.
Yes, part
I agree.
6.
Jason lives. Tooth Brain, what's going on? Thank you for joining us. Forever Friday 13 Part 6 fan.
Part 6, yes. Part 6 is so beloved
A fan favorite for
under
sure.
the floorboards.
Under the floor. Also, fuck Ned from OG. Okay.
Yeah.
White people think we're in a Coachella. Well, he's running over the you know what? I know. My kind. We do some outlandish things. I get it. We wear some wild stuff.
You're an Outlander. It's like who's closer to the corn, Outlander.
There's always that one. There's always that one clown in the crew. Look at this. Like, come on. Everybody's normal. The officer's like, what the fuck are you wearing? Like, everybody else. All right, sit on it, Tonto. Come on.
Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you?
Come on, man. Oh, man, jeez.
Oh, man, that's funny.
Great. What we got over here?
That was one of the greatest comments ever.
Yeah, no, 100%. That's going down in
Oh,
comment history.
hilarious.
I like Part 8, Brooklyn. You know what?
Part 8,
It's one of those that it's a guilty pleasure.
guilty pleasure. Yes.
8 gets a lot of hate, unjust hate, I feel.
Yeah, well, yeah, because he's in Manhattan for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
He took the boat to Manhattan, and crazy. Big Tony Messiah.
Tony, Crazy Ralph. Oh, Crazy Ralph, man, he was a fantastic character, man.
Yeah.
Crazy Ralph was iconic.
Oh, 100%, man. You're doomed. I tell you.
Yeah.
Go now. You know what was what's his name? The guy in the car that was taking Robbie Morgan over down to Camp Crystal Lake. What was his name? He was like, yeah, It has a death. I forgot his name over there, but that was another good character. In the original.
That was
You're starting
part
to sound
3.
like your
No,
friend back there.
wait, which one?
Is that what you're talking about, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. With the
He says, "Are all the girls up there gonna look as good as you?"
yeah, he's a little creepy. I mean, come on, man.
Right.
Oh,
You know who else is
no.
creepy? Freaking Steve Christie with Alice. Like,
Oh, thank you for
creepy, dude. Yeah. It's always made me uncomfortable, that scene where he's like, give me another week. You're really pretty. I'm just like, slow your roll, Steve. Like, slow your roll.
Yo, Christie was a perv. Straight up. Steve Christie deserved to get whacked.
Yeah.
Number one, look at the guy. He looks like a pedo. Straight up.
Little,
the guy,
little
you see that
glasses.
stance? You see that stance and the way he's looking with the
Yeah.
Hey,
He looks like a young pedo, but he looks like a young pedo with the 70s porn stash.
Yeah.
And the glasses.
His death scene is so great. We're just like, oh, yeah. That's so great. Yeah.
Yo, it's wild, man. And the guy, he looked creepy as hell. Like, in a way, I kind of thought maybe this is the guy that's killing these people.
Yeah.
At first, but I'm like,
I hadn't really thought of that. He's one of the red herrings because he leaves.
Yeah.
Sure as shit.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this: what do you think is the scariest part of the film? I think it's something I think most fans don't think a whole lot about, but I think it's a scene with Marcy. It's raining. She's in her bunk.
Oh, yeah.
And you hear her going, "Help me! Help me!" And she's like, "What the fuck?" Like, help me! And it's raining so hard that you can't really hear anything.
I actually
That's
thought it
terrifying.
was the arrow scene where she's in the dark and she can't see, and somebody's shooting arrows at her. That would freak me out if I was in that situation where like you're in the middle of a shooting range and like you're in front of the targets and like you can't see in front of you and somebody could just shoot, like out of nowhere like strike you down.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Let me see. What was the scariest part for me? What could it have been? Damn. See, I'm not a good person to ask this because I wasn't scared of the movie.
Sure.
I just enjoyed I just enjoyed it. It was like being in camp or something. Just having a good time watching it. Killer reactions.
I hated 8. I grew up in the hood. No one is throwing hands with Jason. First of all of us that have like Killer B, I can say this: those thugs in Manhattan, you could have got a better crew of guys back in the 80s. I mean, like, come on.
Oh, the 80s. Forget about it.
So many, and then. You're dead meat, slime ball, or whatever you said over there. I mean,
easy.
Yeah.
Nobody's standing. You're right. Nobody's standing up to Jason. I mean, in the boxer dude.
But they didn't know. That's why when he lifted his mask, we don't have any problem, and they run the other way.
All right. First of all, okay. Here's my thing. The guy's walking around with a fucking hockey mask, and it was like you don't question that.
Whoa! Hold on. This is the 80s. That's not too far fetched.
Yeah,
well, that's not too far fetched back then.
Hockey mask, like
old school.
Swift is not wrong. Like I definitely agree with that for sure.
But let me ask you. I want to ask everybody on this panel. I want to ask you something. I want to ask you a question that I often have when I'm having conversations about the first Friday the 13th, before we move on to the next parts. Do you consider, each one of you, the original Friday the 13th, is that a slasher film or is it a giallo film?
Oh.
Sound off.
Giallo, you said?
Yes.
That's a good question. I'm gonna let somebody else take this first.
I think it's definitely a slasher. However, if you watch the unrated cut, you get more of that giallo influence because they cut so much of the gore.
Gotcha.
Out of the theatrical cut, and giallo's like, I think it elevates like the gore, and I think of like Tenebrae, that the arm cutting scene and just like spraying against the wall and stuff, and you get a little more of that in the unrated cut where. But like seeing her hands, like that's very Giallo. There's definitely a lot of Giallo inspiration like littered throughout. It does have that mystery element too. It's almost like a whodunit.
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about that before. That's a really good question, Swift. That's kind of an American blend of Giallo. Yeah, that's cool.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Never got asked that question before, and that is really good, Swift. It has me thinking. What do you? You go ahead.
No, I was gonna say was, I think it's a slasher. You can have a subgenre of a horror movie while also having elements of another subgenre. So, like for example, anybody who knows me knows I love Saw, the Saw franchise.
Yeah.
So I don't consider Saw a horror as much as a psychological thriller. However, psychological thriller falls into the subgenre of both drama and horror.
Yeah.
But I consider that Saw has horror elements, but I consider more of a psychological thriller. I feel that Friday the 13th is a slasher, but it has elements of Giallo. Not everything is so dry or black and white. Sorry, Sammy. You go.
No, I definitely agree with you with that because I feel like with Friday the 13th, I view it as a slasher, but because I haven't seen like uncuts and beyond that, for me, the way that I see it, I'm like, oh, it's a slasher. Nothing wrong with that. Like Gabe said, and we all probably agree with that, is that there's so many different, there's genre and then there's subgenres of the horror realm. Yeah. So you can have, the blood, the gore, the psychological aspect of all of it. And you can also intertwine that. And there's nothing wrong with bringing in the gore and the psychological aspect involved at the same time. So I think, in my opinion, I feel like that's a topic where some horror fans, they kind of have issues because they always think that this is the topic. This is where you have to derive from solely. Kind of like going back to like being in high school where like, what's your style? Like what realm are you in? And it's like, no, you can still support something even if it's like a little different. You can still have that aspect of appreciating the diversity of art, however it's presented to be. But yeah, I definitely think for me it's more of like a slasher in my thought.
Very
awesome.
Very well said, Sam.
Awesome.
Very good
Interesting
point.
take.
I want to go to some of the comments real quick because
let's see what they're talking about too.
He said part 6. Matt has to, I don't know if he's still on here, but Matt, thank you just so much for jumping on and chiming in. He says 6 is his favorite. He did say he has to go. He's out of here. He's unfortunately can't watch the Monsters movie. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much for hanging out, Matt.
Thanks, man. Sorry, we're gonna miss you.
Yeah, brother. Listen, appreciate you just jumping on, saying hello, chiming in. What else we got over here? Brooklyn Diva. The scariest part was Jason came out of the water in the OG. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that was a big time jump scare.
Tony Masari. All right, Tony. Bobby Morgan in the beginning getting a throat cut.
Oh, yeah.
Is that the hitchhiker that when she gets out of the truck? Is that? Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Under the floorboards. Oh, yeah. Welcome to New York City.
Welcome to New York. That's mine. Nemo. Probably the girl is under the dock and he stabs her in the head.
That's the remake. That's the remake, but I like the remake.
That just happened last week.
Excellent remake.
Yeah.
Now, Killer B likes that remake. Wait, it's NYC. And Johnny Pickle comes down the street and doesn't phase us. Listen, Brooklyn Diva, you're 100% correct.
I've seen Pickle Rick and Pickle Rick Grimes.
Well,
nice.
I mean, I see Italian cannoli at the Italian San Gennaro feast.
Leave the gun.
Take the cannoli. That's it.
Yeah.
So let's see. But all the Jason actors, Kane Hodder is the best.
Amen.
Subjective. Subject. Hey, listen, you guys like Kane. not my favorite. I'm going with CJ. I'm going with Ted White in the fourth one.
Okay.
I was gonna say Ted White.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Florida
Ted
was a
White.
great one.
I'm a Ted White
Yeah,
purist fan.
he's a
I
bad.
am definitely biased because I've only met like Kane Hodder like a handful of times. And so that's just like my opinion because I've never met anybody
Yeah.
else, but he was so chill, so nice. And I give all of those actors like a ton of credit because it takes so much work to hold that killer role, and all the actors to be able to withstand what they have to go through for durations
yeah.
of time with the environment that they have to go through. So yeah, kudos to all those actors, but yeah, definitely Kane Hodder because I met him a couple of times. He's a cool dude. He's a cool dude.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen. You know
Absolutely.
what? I give credit to anybody that gets on the set because, like you said, Sam, there's a lot that goes into the filming. Like one scene, Gabe, you know this. Everybody, you may have been on the set before. I'm not too sure, but one scene can take 12 hours and it's 1 minute long.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and you're doing it over and over. Sometimes different takes, different angles. It's a lot. It's a lot. And
Not just that, as an editor, I'll also say editing a scene, editing a minute long could take as much as from anywhere from a few days to several weeks to longer, depending on what goes into that minute. Like depending on what graphics or what thing. Well, I'm saying not months, but like I've edited features, I've edited shorts, and certain sequences can take longer than something that's short, that's more complex, could take longer to edit than something that's long, but not as complex.
Oh yeah, I mean the editing's tedious, man. I give you a lot of credit for that. It's a lot that goes in there because you also got to understand if it's not your project, you have to really understand that
revisions, and then there's revisions, and
all that
yeah,
stuff.
Gabe, I give you a lot of credit because like watching people like behind the scenes and trying to find the location, trying to make sure that all the actors, all the PAs, like they're taken care of. The editing.
Oh no, that's Jimmy. That's Jimmy. I think Jimmy's the one who does that.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's it was I don't know. It's a lot, but you know what? I love it. I got to tell you, I wish hopefully get some more roles doing that.
But y'all are both very talented,
Thank
so
you.
good for you guys. Honestly, that takes a lot of patience.
It does. It does.
I'm not a doctor, but I have patience, and I play one on Tinder. So.
Oh.
Well, there we go. If anybody's looking for
Seriously, I just deleted my Tinder account anyway. So.
Anybody's not feeling well, go see Dr. Gabe. He got Wolfman. Yeah, actually, hold on real quick, guys. Under the Floorboards. Hot take. Only the OG 13 is a slasher. All the others, like Nightmare on Elm Street, are creature features. They are literally monsters.
Oh.
Scream, Hatchet, Wrong Turn, totally a slasher. But that supernatural changes it. I said, that is. I mean,
nice thought.
I don't know. But this goes to the point. They could fit in multiple categories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Like so Friday 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Halloween could all be considered supernatural in addition to slashers. Like again, subgenres that overlap with each other. Elements of subgenres.
And the Mrs. joining in here saying
JC
in the building, Mrs. Entertainment as AJ Pan says that. Okay, it's a slasher. I agree. It is a slasher. Michael Keller. Oh God, this place. Steve should have never opened this place again. I'm just thinking of it. I'm trying to do the voice. Why weren't you paying attention? His name was Jason. No, she was so calm. She's like, she's ready, and boom, and there, boom. That's it. She's on the look at that smile. That's smile.
That's a grin. That's not a grin. That's not a smile. That's a grin.
That's a grin. Yeah, that's like I'm gonna. And then this is. Oh, I got to show this one. This is from. I know it's totally off. Still on the Friday the 13th topic, but I popped this up here because when we had the mini-con, Friday the 13th mini-con in Blairstown. We had somebody dress up as.
I remember. I remember that. I remember that.
Gavin, if I can't pronounce his last name, a Canadian guy came over there all the way and just dressed up as Mrs. Voorhees. Here's Lauren Marie Taylor.
What's that all about?
They came out from everywhere for that event. They came from
dude.
everywhere.
Yeah,
Oh
look,
man, it
we
was
had
crazy.
Shelley Bruce from the show played, and she was in The Burning
Yep.
there. We had Tracy Savage, Harry Manfredini was there, Ron Sloan. That was a good day, guys. That was a good
Oh
day out
yeah,
there. Little
yeah, a
panel.
lot of
Oh,
fun.
who's that guy at the silver in the background? I don't know, but it's
He's cute. He's
No,
real
He
he
cute.
usually show himself.
of course no, it's this guy. But yeah, no, it was a good time out there, man.
Yeah, it was fun.
again,
It was a lot of
we're gonna
fun.
do some more of these down the line for sure. Different events. Let's go. Hold on one second. We got some other people chiming in. Do we consider Jason X Toothbrain? Jason X a horror comedy? What do you think on that, Wolfman?
Oh,
What do you-
for sure.
Jason X?
I have
Yeah.
to say, Jason X has aged remarkably well. If you know what you're getting yourself into, it's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's such a product of its time, and so I will say, year to year, Friday the 13th is it's probably my favorite franchise as a whole. For more, I say more modern horror. Geez, 45 years, but I'm a Halloween 78 purist, like far and away. It's my favorite. But Friday the 13th is the franchise I find myself rewatching every single year, front to back. And I look forward to getting to Jason X because it's like it's making fun of itself in a way. Like it does take itself seriously when it needs to, but it's just like I think Jason X acknowledges the fact that it's Jason in outer space in the future. Like you can't take yourself but so seriously in that regard. And it has this charm to it. I think the acting's good. You got some crazy memorable skills. You get the holodeck sequence where
You get some crazy
it's
weapons and kills.
Yeah. The kills are great. I love the holodeck scene with like the two girls on the beach and they're so it is 100% self-aware, and I think people miss the point. I think people go into Jason X expecting something serious, and I'm like,
They get Leprechaun
it's
4.
Jason in space. Like, come on, guys! Like, you can't take it too seriously. And I think that movie's way, way better than a lot of folks give it credit for. I personally think it's a step up from Jason Goes to Hell.
Really?
There's some charm about Jason Goes to Hell, but Jason Goes to Hell is not my favorite. And moving into Jason X, I'm kind of like, okay, yeah,
Dude,
I'm good with this.
I'll disagree with you on because Jason Goes to Hell is one of my guilty pleasures.
Awesome. I love it.
I know a lot of people hate it, but I also know a lot of people hate Jason X, but it's a fun movie. It's not your typical Friday the 13th, but it has that cliche. It's just, but also it's unique. It's very unique, Jason X.
It's 2002.
It's like, yo, what else can we do?
Right. Yeah. We get to the 10th installment. Like, what else do we do? Like,
I got a great idea. Space. That's it. Now we're sending Jason.
Yeah. They said, oh, he took New York City. Now let's go to space.
Oh,
right.
Tony, Big Tony. Sean Cunningham was shopping around different studios, showing him the scripts. That's how we got The Burning.
Thank you for mentioning The Burning and Madman, because they are two of the greatest summer camp slasher films ever made. You get Savini skipping out on Friday Part 2 to go make The Burning, and The Burning is phenomenal. Oh my God. I don't want to dive too deep into that summer camp thing because we might have a discussion about that in a not too distant future. But thank you for bringing that up, because long live The Burning. It is very close to my all-time favorite 80s horror film. So
Shelley Bruce was in The Burning.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And
Jason Alexander.
The Burning. Super underrated. Came out 1 year after Friday the 13th, same year as Part 2.
They were like a week apart.
Insane, insane. Wow. But it's it's very similar.
You got the campfire scenes where they're like, "Let me tell you this story about Jason, and let me tell you this story about Cropsey." It's like, and they couldn't have known that. That's the craziest part about those two movies. The production teams. Clueless what the other people were doing, and they came out so similar. And I love watching Friday 2 and The Burning back to back, and even Madman. Madman's right there too.
Yeah.
I watched
Madman,
Madman. Oh God, I watched Madman a little after The Burning, and Madman has a couple sequences in that film that scared me. Like, and I watched that a few years back. Like, it's so just in your face. If you guys haven't seen Madman, this doesn't really spoil anything, but it's similar. They tell this camp story about
I've never seen
Madman Mars, who lives up in this he lives in this abandoned house. Holy crap, it's right here, right where we're camping. Like, so everyone's like, ha ha ha, that's kind of funny. They leave. All right, but it's very reminiscent of kind of like Are You Afraid of the Dark? You know, they douse the fire.
Self-aware. It's sort of self-aware.
Yeah. They gotta. So they leave, and as soon as they leave the campfire, one of the guys looks up in a tree and sees Madman Mars like up in this tree, and you're just like, oh shit! Like, I mean, it just goes right for the jugular, right from the beginning.
Oh yeah.
So
I love that.
Bringing that up. Check out Madman. It's phenomenal. The Burning's phenomenal. Summer camp stuff is like cream of the crop. We're right here, May, June, so
prime time.
Ian, what you said, that opening scene, you know what that makes me think of? The Evil Dead remake, the 2013 Evil Dead opening scene.
Oh yeah,
like that thing where she's like, "I'll rip your soul out, Daddy. I'll rip your soul out." That. Like she says it so calmly,
right
and
at the beginning.
Like, holy shit!
Yeah,
like, the whole audience was like gasps simultaneously. I remember seeing that in theaters. And, like the whole audience, you could hear a simultaneous gasp across the entire theater.
No one knew what they were in for. Yeah.
That was insane, man. That 2013, that opening scene, 2013, the Evil Dead.
Yeah.
That I was like, oh, she just like a switch.
Yeah.
Your soul.
I was like, the way she says it, I'll rip your soul out, Daddy. Like, holy shit. And then like, I'll rip your soul out. Yeah, basically. Like she goes like so soft, like she's crying to him, and she says the most darkest, evil thing you can say to your own father, to any human being. It's like so dark.
I always
go ahead, Sammy. I'm sorry, Sammy. Go ahead.
So phenomenal, like how you go from, basic, innocent, vulnerable, to so extreme, like in an instant, and understandably, like that's your role, that's what you got hired for. But to go from that moment of just like vulnerability, and then they expect you to be psychotic and crazy. I wish they would have like podcasts or videos about those actors, and they would come forward how they do it. Like,
if I could get her on my podcast, I would love that. She's like, just because of her opening scene in Evil Dead, I would have her on my podcast for that scene.
Yeah, it's insane how they accomplish those emotions, because it's like, what are you thinking in that moment to train yourself to get to that emotional, vulnerable point? You have, people depending on you. You have the cameras. They expect you to be eccentric, and so how do you get to that extreme?
You have a room full of people and a camera in your face.
There's lighting. I mean, come on, everybody's in there, man.
Different LEDs.
Yeah.
Yeah. No pressure, but I want you to be so hysterical.
Yeah.
Snap of a finger. And that's why I admire like all the male, female actors, back in the 80s, 90s, like even now, where it's like, kudos to y'all, because you have to put yourself in such a mindset.
100%. I agree. No, I'm sorry, Sam. I didn't know you were still talking. Cut off. Continue. You said you had to put yourself in a mindset.
No. Like to get into those emotions, I really would. I wish like there would be like actors out there that would have like a YouTube channel or a podcast or whatever, to not like train people per se, but like help people understand like how they get in that mindset, because I always find that so fascinating. Like back in even in the 50s, like their mentality, with
like Anthony Perkins in Psycho. How
exactly. Like so
like hysterical to calm to hysterical.
Yeah.
Well, it's personal, and I think a lot of the people sometimes don't want to talk about it because they go to this place of, hey, I have this memory of watching my mom die, or my pet when I was however old died. Like, they pull from like personal tragedy a lot, and I'm not an actor, but I feel like it's probably easier, to pull from that when you're acting with somebody else. I can't, like, the scenes where you're by yourself and you have to hit that raw emotion, that seems like it'd be way harder because you can't play off anybody else. Like, you got somebody else, in front of you. You can block out all the cameras and everybody else on the set, and it's just I'm focusing on this person in front of me. But I feel like I've read some interviews where people are like, I thought about the day my dad died and stuff like that, and it's wild. Yeah,
you got to take
it's an art for sure.
Well, sorry.
No, I was just saying you got to take yourself to a dark place. A lot of people, like when you have to
Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, some of the greatest performances were as a result of that. I don't know if you, and this is not horror, but you've ever seen Old Dogs Go to Heaven. I don't know if you know the story behind the end scene where Burt Reynolds has to talk to the little girl's character, and he didn't record at the same time as her, and since she recorded it, her father killed her in real life. So he had to. He took him like 30 tries. He tried to not break down every time he had a conversation with this little girl's voice, who was his friend, who he worked with on this movie, who had just been killed by her father. So he's gotta be try not to break down crying every take. He breaks down crying until they finally got it. And when you know that and you watch the movie, your heart breaks. Like I didn't know this as a kid. Thankfully, I didn't know, but I didn't understand. I wouldn't understand.
Traumatizing.
But if I watched Old Dogs Go to Heaven now, that scene would hit me like a brick wall.
Yeah.
Wow.
We gotta switch that. I didn't know that, Gabe. Thank you for sharing that too. Yeah. That's crazy. I want to switch onto the chat right here. I'm looking. There's a couple things I want to pop up in here real quick. So let's start from the top. Where did we leave it? Okay, Scott. Okay, there was great. Thank you, Scott. I appreciate that. The mini con he was talking about.
Thank you, Scott.
Killer reactions. The remake is 100% slasher. No supernatural elements in the. Oh God.
The remake was really good. It was a really good remake.
What?
It was.
Why is Killer B doing this all the time?
Listen, Killer B got to come in and sting her.
To fuck with you, Jimmy.
God, man. I mean, seriously, do you work? Like, are you like, you dropping bombs over here, man? You work with the military? I mean, every time. Yeah, remake's the best. Yeah. Now he's out of here. Now it's a whole big discussion here. Now people are going to go nuts. Yeah. Oh, my God.
Speaking of sorry.
The scariest moment in the entire franchise for me was the end of part 3. The big scare at the end of the first was classic. Lady in the Lake, Mrs. Voorhees was frightening at the end of the third.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Mrs. Voorhees with the worm-infested face.
Yeah.
That was like...
No.
That was awesome. She had the blacked out eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I mean, the first 4, you kind of can watch them. Like you gotta
go straight through.
Eventually,
2, 3, and 4 take place over the course of like a few days, essentially. Yeah.
Yep.
Like Keller got a question. We're gonna get to some of the other ones here right now.
Any favorite fan films?
Favorite Friday 13 fan films. Drop them up in here.
I honestly never got through any of them.
I couldn't either.
I have to go and watch them because I hear a lot of great things about them, but I never done it.
Well, Vengeance and Vengeance 2 were the big ones, I think.
I heard CJ was in a couple and he did a good job.
He was in the Vengeance films.
Yeah.
Okay. He plays. He doesn't play Jason. He plays Pamela's husband, I believe. Yeah, like Mr. Voorhees.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think with Vengeance, there was a couple other ones. Fan film. I was never really big into the fan films because
they did one with Park Lincoln as well, like a when she's older, and I can't remember. That one's called. I can't remember what that one's called.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but she was recently passed too.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Laura. I was
Rest
terrible.
in peace.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rest in peace.
You know,
I actually prefer the professional parodies over the professional fan films. Usually, like the fan made parodies
yeah.
are often better than. I'm not saying I never saw the Friday the 13th fan films, so I don't have anything to compare it to. But a lot of these parodies that you see online are so clever the way they play upon the movies.
Yeah.
Sometimes those are even better than the fan films that are high budget.
Yeah, got you.
Or
Wow.
budget.
I mean, listen, I give everybody respect for just creating something.
Yes.
And I appreciate that. You know, it takes a lot. It's a lot of effort. So even though like fan films are really not my thing, I appreciate what they've done and contributed to this genre. So I definitely give everybody, you know, credit for taking the time to do that. And you know, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Well, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Right now, for all the Friday 13th fans, now that Friday 13th is in limbo, we don't know what's going on with Crystal Lake. We don't know what's going on with all this other stuff. Now is the best time to consume these fan films because there's so much time in between official releases.
And they're free to watch.
Yeah, they're free to watch. If you want your Friday 13th fix, check them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. I agree with that. So I die for Danielle Penna. Oh, my God. There we go. There we go.
Listen.
Hey, every horror movie goes to die. The horror. Yeah, you are.
Unless it starts there, like Aliens or.
Yeah, in space, nobody can hear you
There
scream.
you go.
That's true. It has to start there. If it doesn't start there, you're done. That's it. So, Mike Keller, what does everybody think of parts? Is that 8 now?
Part 8. Part 7. Part 7. Part 7 is probably my least favorite Paramount film.
Oh wow!
Of the Friday series,
okay.
yes.
That's a hot take. Okay.
Why? Explain why.
Yeah.
I'm curious why.
Yeah.
I want to know why.
The concept I liked. I liked Carrie versus Jason. I did like that. It was just I just think I didn't really connect with the characters as much. You know, it was just something about it.
Other than like a couple of them, or like
they were like all pieces of trash or something. Like I didn't really connect with the characters, and
but then you get to wish for more people. You get to be okay when you see more people die. You're okay with it.
It wasn't even worth it for me. Like their deaths didn't even make me feel better. You know, I did like the stunts. The stunts in that movie were sick.
Yeah,
like Jason falling through the stairs, all of the stunts and everything. All of that work, that was great work. I just I just didn't connect with part 7 too much.
Okay,
I think part 7. You get to some of the later 80s horror movies, and there was a bit more restriction on what they could get away with in the gore. Yeah. So I will say part 7 hits that pitfall of going for a kill and cutting away at the last second. There's no gore. There's not a lot of blood. Yeah. Part 6 kind of does that as well. And that's a little frustrating. I will say, hot take, the best freaking unmasked Jason of all time.
That best face. Best face.
I freaking love it. And it drives me crazy when you get Kane Hodder in part 7 in this, and you go to part 8, and he looks completely different. He just looks like a goop monster. Like,
you don't see his face until he's already half melted, though.
Right.
Yeah.
But part 7, like that classic scene where it's like his mask splits, and oh, dude, it is one of my favorite scenes in the entire franchise.
I love that. Like 7 is one of my favorites. I'll explain why. I think everybody's talking about originality, original approaches. You have all these Friday the 13th films that have the same concept, campers, all this stuff, and now you have a girl who has a backstory that actually ties into her struggle and her why and her psychosis and why everybody's doubting what she saw or what she experienced. So it makes it more complicated, and it actually helps her character develop. Meanwhile, you have the doctor who doesn't believe her, who also kills her mother by throwing her to Jason, which was like, you want that character to die. Not the mother, the character. And you have all these bullying teenagers and douchebags and like the smug frat looking that all get killed in the most satisfying ways, even if you don't always, it cuts away. You get you get some you have one of the most ruthless Jasons. I mean, he walks out of a burning house. I mean, he walks up to the front door and throws an axe in the person's face and then throws the first floor, not just the room, the first floor, like from the whole way into the living room. I felt it was one of the most ruthless Jasons. It was one of the best faces. It had one of the most original approaches to the characters in a Jason film that had to face Jason, who had a backstory, and I really enjoyed it more than So I just want to say that.
Yeah. No,
I will say one last thought. This is where you get into the whole timeline doesn't really add up, because end of part 6, Tommy and Jason's fight and he's trapped under there. Well, then you have the flashback sequence with Tina, when she's a little girl and Jason's down.
Yes.
The
continuity is off.
Yeah,
With any franchise, you can have off continuity.
Okay. Yeah. So by present day, Tina, they should be in like the late 90s or early 2000s, and
True.
It's all part of the charm. It kind of goes back to like the Universal Mummy movies. Like you go Mummy's Hand, and they're like 25 years later in the second one, and World War II still going on, and then they move 35 years. And like by the time you get to the end of the franchise, a movie that comes out in 1944 is taking place in 1997. If you do the math, same thing here, and it doesn't make any difference whatsoever.
It's like Texas Chainsaw 3D. It's like Texas Chainsaw 3D, where it's 40 years later, but the girl's a teenager.
Right. Yeah. If you think about it too much, you're
you're gonna start losing it. But you got to enjoy it.
It's great. That's the charm of these movies,
Yeah. But I think that's what's like you said, last thing that you said, Ian. It's the beauty of it, right? By the time this is the 7th, Friday the 13th, it's like you're at the point now. It's like, well, anything goes. It's on Archie rules.
Oh yeah,
Jason, we're playing psychological warfare here. Jason's coming in here. He's hitting people. Did you see how her body just when he threw her on the table? It just like it was all. It was awesome. I was just laughing at that. Like I laugh at those little scenes, like in the
like Jimmy. I'm sure you laughed when he punched his head off and takes Manhattan.
Yeah, that was awesome. He knocked the guy's head off. On the top of the roof, the boxer, and then even in the second one when he took the machete to the head, what's his name, in the wheelchair, and just the way he was falling down the steps, like
yeah.
Doesn't fall out of the chair
over.
Ever.
He just happens to be like wobbling back and forth on the wheelchair that doesn't tip over.
Just those kids that have me dying. Like
if you don't have a good comic relief in a horror movie, then what do you have to offer? Like that truly is an idol to provide in horror movies, to give it a little like kick, it's like, here's some gore, here's some blood, dialogue, but let me have some comic relief.
You need that.
I'll say this is not a hot take. This is the gospel truth. The greatest single scene in the whole franchise is Crispin Glover dancing. Hey, the computer says you're a dead fuck. I love it. I love it so much.
Yo, Crispin, I mean, oh my God. That dance, okay? I think he was actually dancing to the real song. It was AC/DC, they said, Back in Black.
Yeah.
How are you dancing?
Yeah.
Like this? Like, what are you doing? What is this, man? What is it? Who dances like that? And whose dog is barking in the background, by the way? I hear a dog barking. Is it?
It's not my house.
That's my man's in him. That's my dogs. No, but
that's the tenants downstairs, man. They dog won't shut up. Sorry about
got a hot take. They have a hot take. Let's hear what the dog got to say.
The other great thing about Crispin Glover's character is you think he's gonna get shafted. Like he's not gonna get lucky. Like, the other guy's like, weaseling his way in, and he's a piece of shit and just a douchebag. But Crispin scores He scores, and he goes downstairs, make a sandwich or something, and then he gets killed. And it's like, great. You know, if he had to go, he went
Nobody smile.
with
Was
a bang.
that the corkscrew one?
Literally.
Was his
That's
death
the corkscrew one. Yeah,
corkscrew one?
yeah.
Okay.
And he gets like a meat cleaver to the face. Oh, dude, it's
Yeah.
great.
Where the hell's the damn corkscrew? Yeah,
The corkscrew.
Ah, look at that.
so cute. Tony knows them all. I'm telling you, man. He said, I got bomb on me, I swear to you. That's one ugly man. That goes there. Okay. Go out in the back, shovel shit out the chicken coop. Oh, yeah, okay. Ethel, man. Oh, God. She is
Oh man.
part 5. You know, let's talk about part 5 real quick.
Yep, part 5.
The characters, the cast of characters in part 5 were absolutely incredible. It's so underrated. And I think it aged well because many people for years, they didn't like this film because it was not the real Jason. It was like the imposter Jason.
Yeah.
But still, look at these characters. Ron Sloan, good friend of mine too. Ron's awesome. Ethel, I had an opportunity to speak. I spoke with actually both of them at the same time on this show a couple years back before she passed. She was supposed to be at the Minicon too. Unfortunately, she was not too well to make it there. And she is just amazing, man. Like, so down to earth. She was up for anything. When we were doing the little promo, I had to say this. I says, I said, I have to actually, Miss Locatel says, would you mind doing this? And I told her the whole thing with the 4-letter words and all. And she's like, Jimmy, fuck yeah. She's amazing, man. And then she did the whole thing and she loved it. But yeah, man, it's so sad. I really wanted to actually meet her in person. But her character in part 5 was awesome. It was over the top. She was a badass. She wasn't having it. She was taking no shit in that movie. But not only her, but man, Miguel Nunez. I talk about this all the time.
I love him.
Yeah.
I just saw him back in March. He's such a fun guy to hang out with.
he's oh man, he's actually the life. I'm thinking about him. Anita, hey girl. Oh, you're gonna get her, bitch.
Yeah.
By the way, I just want to mention my favorite death sequence. 2 deaths, but my favorite death sequence is in part 5. One of my favorite death sequences is in part 5, and it's the one where the first he stabs the girl who's like topless with the hedge clippers, but then when he puts the belt around the tree and that double kill. 2 of the most clever, like, even when you don't have real Jason, but you got badass kills, those are great. You can't pass that up.
Sammy, I got to ask you, what was your favorite part of the entire franchise, the Friday 13th franchise?
The whole thing was, like, honestly, for me, like, the whole scenery. For me, like, knowing the entire scene has to be based on figuring out the locations and figuring out how to make everything work. That is my main thing. Is I think looking on sets now and seeing how, like, hardcore, like, people have to work to try to, make all the scenes like fall into place. That's like my main thing is like the nature of it, the whole cabins, like the water and everything. And I'm like, oh, how do they make it work?
Oh, just the atmosphere you talk about, like the whole just being at camp, being in the forest, being with the cabins, like that whole.
How do they make like those locations like work? How to figure out, like to make everything like fall into place? Because like even now, I'm like, when I go on set, like whenever I do acting, I'm like, how did you find that location? And for how long did you preserve that rent of time to get that location?
Okay.
That's like how I observe like those films and stuff. Their acting is absolutely phenomenal. But when it comes to the scenery and everything with the campsites, how long did you rent those spaces?
How long did they shoot these films? That's like something like that. So you're looking at it as just like the whole aesthetic, the whole theme of it overall. Like that franchise, just being.
I love the whole atmosphere and figuring out how they got everything into place. Renting maybe certain locations, and preserving everything, because you have to, every day it has to be like, you have to follow through with it.
Okay. Yeah. No. Sure. Is there any favorite part? Any like particular sequel or part?
No. Yeah, favorite installment in the franchise.
Or
Favorite-
sequence or scene or
sequence, character.
Yeah,
Anything.
that her favorite aspect is the location scout part. That's her favorite
behind the
aspect.
scenes. That's the creativity, the creation element.
Anything like that they had like by the water, because like for me, I'm like, they have to go by play, sequence by sequence to hold the role of each character, and I never understood like how they were able to, preserve each sequence.
Preserve continuity.
Yeah, like how do they keep going with the continuity?
Okay. Oh, I got you. I know what you're saying. Okay, so that's part. I'm thinking about it too, because like, it like we were talking about before. There's a lot that goes into a film, a lot that goes into a movie. So I guess you're looking at lens. Definitely understand. I wanted to switch real quick, actually, guys, because there's a couple things that just popped up here. I was looking. Always felt like Friday the 13th first film story had a tip that had the Hitchcock Psycho. No, it's not you. I agree with that. It's just the whole Mrs. Voorhees aspect, and
it does, and also to that Mario Bava film, A Bay of Blood. I think that was 1971, 72.
Mm-hmm.
It also you watch that and you watch Friday the 13th, and you'll see a lot of similarities.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a good point, Swift.
But also, they brought this up. It's like an inverse. You know, with Psycho, it's like Mother manifests in Norman, and then you get the tail end, and she's like, "Kill her, mommy." It's like Jason manifests in Pamela. I mean, I don't think anyone has ever. I could be wrong in this. Based on the research I've done, I've never seen any of the filmmakers come out and say, "Yeah, but." I mean, I can't imagine that Psycho didn't have some sort of inspiration
influence
to,
100%.
Well, also, there's an element that I like that Friday the 13th does, and not just in the first two films, in several films, even though there's something where like in the first one you never even see a hand, you see a person's kill reaction. Or you see a weapon go in, or you see the tip of the weapon in the frame, but you never see a hand. You never see a shadow. Really, like in Norman in Psycho, you see the shadow of the woman in the shower curtain. But like in the first Friday the 13th, you never even see an inkling of her hand, like the killer's hand, their clothing, their shoulder, until until she comes in and introduces herself as "I'm Mrs. Voorhees, old friend of the Christies." And then in part two, even when you see you see what's her name, Adrienne King's character get killed, you see it from like you see so tall, so you see it from like here. And his hand, but you never see the face. Even if it's like a man, like for a majority of this, when he crushes the guy's head and the eyeball pops out, you don't see above a certain point. So even in part three, when you know who it is, it's Jason. They still do that secretive thing where you don't see him until a certain point of the film. You only see like a piece of him.
You're right. Yeah, I definitely get that part, and you know what? I like that aspect too, though that you don't know who it is and who's doing, like you're saying, or sometimes also with the camera tricks too, like that goes to that.
I'm saying it's very Hitchcockian. It's that mysterious element to it.
Yeah, that's a good word. There it is, Hitchcockian. That's it. I'll take it. Horrorfield, can we please get another Freddy versus? Hell yeah! I've been waiting for part two.
Let's get it.
Jason, come on, man.
Jason's still walking around Freddy's head.
I have to cut in because I have this very rare graphic novel that tells the story of the original concept of Freddy vs. Jason 2, Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ad. And I showed Monica Kina this. She didn't know her character. Lori comes back in the beginning of it.
Oh,
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's very hard to find. It's very expensive online. Although I told Monica I'd give it to her. And this is actually one of the masks, the mask that Jason wears in the story. This is actually the Freddy vs. Jason versus Ash versus, Freddy vs. Jason 2 mask. And
Like the Phantom of the Lake mask.
yeah, and I would love to see it happen, but unfortunately Bruce Campbell said it's not happening.
Yeah.
And so did, at this point, Robert Englund's not coming back as Freddy.
Oh.
So it is what it is. But like that's another reason I love Jason Goes to Hell, because it's set up for that.
They
Even
set it up. Yeah,
before-
the ending was everything.
Not even the ending. Not even the ending. Before the ending, you see the Necronomicon on Jason's mother's desk,
Yeah.
setting up for Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, implying that Jason is a Deadite long before the Freddy glove comes up.
Yeah,
Almost planning the sequel to Freddy versus Jason before planning Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, you're right.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah, definitely. I seen that, and that's why, like, I know many people, they don't like that film. I give it some sort of credit because for me it's nostalgia, like purposes. Why I enjoyed Jason Goes to Hell. I think Duke,
I like Duke's character.
his character,
Creighton Duke.
Crater, he's like, "You ready to pay?" Just when he's breaking his hands, like, well, that's gonna
That
cost.
part was
Another
nuts.
fucking expensive question.
Yeah, that was great, man. And even then, get the damn dagger. No, the whole end sequence, he's over there. So it was great. The ending, ending was everything. And then when you seen Freddy's glove come out, everybody with that was what, like, but it took 10 years for Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah,
we finally got it. Freddy delivered. Rob always delivers, and it was amazing. No knock. I'm not knocking Jason in that movie. I think it's oh my god, I'm bad with names. Somebody gotta help me here.
Ken Kirzinger.
Oh, Kirzinger. Okay, Kirzinger. Thank you. Not knocking his character. It's just the Jason that we got is not the Jason I feel we wanted. He was like Frankenstein in that movie and moving around. He was so stiff. It wasn't like, when you got Kane or CJ, okay, you see, like, you give Kane credit for the breathing aspect. You've seen him that, like, you can't do much because you're not speaking, but he gave Jason that element, like, of him breathing. And then you see with CJ, even with him walking, CJ was vicious. He reminds me of like the Ted White version of Jason. And that's what we wanted to get, what we wanted to see, and we didn't get that. But we got some badass kills in there. The cornfield. We got the fight.
The cornfield scene was insane. That was beautiful.
It was crazy. And even how Freddy came about, and I love the fact in that one that they referenced things from part 3 from Dream Warriors for Hypnos Hill and Weston Hill and all that.
That was for the fans, and I love that.
Yeah,
not just the fans of like the new generation. That was for the old generation who grew up with all the original Freddy movies.
Absolutely,
yeah.
And that's why I enjoyed that that aspect of it in Freddy versus Jason. So there were a lot of nods in that movie, and then it was a good film. It's a fun film. I feel like it's one of those rewatchable. You can watch that over and over. I feel like so another good one there. Thank you for bringing it up, Horror Film Queen, and welcome to the party. Better late.
Thanks for coming out, V. Thank you.
That's it. Movies reuse. That's okay. We talk about the set sequence. Under the floorboards, you got to hop off. They said.
Man, thanks for coming out,
dude. Yeah, appreciate that. Hey, listen, always much love, guys. Thank you for jumping on and joining.
Yeah, thank you.
We need a horror Avengers movie where all horror icons come together and tear shit down. Oh man, Tony, that would be great, man.
Yeah.
I think somebody made a fan poster for that. It wasn't the Expendables. It was the Slasher Bros, something like that. It was like somebody played around with it.
Horror Film Queen. Anybody excited for the show about Pamela Voorhees?
Yes.
I'm glad she brought this up because this is something that ties to the first film that I really wanted to speak about. You get into the psyche of Pam Voorhees and what she's doing, and I'm hoping Crystal Lake expands on this. We know it's Linda Cardellini is going to play, or Cardellini is going to play a younger Pam Voorhees, but my question is, so you get the opening sequence of Friday the 13th. And correct me if is it 58, 56? It's
57,
somewhere
56.
around
Oh yeah,
57.
actually, it
Yeah.
has to be 50. Yeah, okay.
Somewhere around there. She kills Claudette, and the guy's name escapes me. I just met Deborah S. Hayes, who plays Claudette now, and she was a sweetheart. Still beautiful, gorgeous. So that's 57, 58. You get the murmurings of they tried to open it back up and such, and then the fires, and the water was bad. The fascinating thing about Pamela Voorhees is we don't know what she does outside of making sure Camp Crystal Lake will not reopen. That's her only vendetta. And what's she doing for I think present day is technically it's 79. It's not 80, it's 79 because they filmed it in 79, and I think in the later films you see her tombstone, it says she died in 79, but you get like a 20-year period where it's like, here and there they're trying to reopen Camp Crystal Lake, but outside of that, like, is she still, nice Mrs. Voorhees who lives down the street and bakes cookies for the bake sale and goes to church on Sunday? And
maybe we'll get a Bates Motel approach where it ends
right
with the first film.
Yep.
Where it ends the way the first film ended.
So
yeah.
A couple things that we do know regarding the whole rights dispute. Film and television are totally separate. So, Brian Fuller was going to be like the head,
I love
creative
Brian.
chief.
Yeah.
He's great. Hannibal, God.
Best show on television. My favorite.
So they had creative differences, and that's why we're waiting so long for Crystal Lake. But he did say in an interview, he confirmed, we can use anything and everything from the films in our TV show.
That's amazing.
Any iteration of Jason, we can have him look like part 2. We can have him look like part 3, part 4, 7, whatever.
Wow.
We can use it all. We can use all the character names. Anything and everything goes, as long as it's just TV. It's going to be on TV. I think that's awesome. And
I just think it's funny how Peacock of all streaming services are the one
right,
about it.
Right. Yeah. Universal. Yeah. That's cool. We could see some really cool
collaborate
stuff pop up at Universal Studios, Orlando and stuff.
Yeah.
So anything goes with Crystal Lake, and
it could tie into Jason Goes to Hell with the whole Necronomicon thing and the Deadeye. Who knows?
Yeah. We
don't
know.
We don't know.
But I'm genuinely curious. I think what I'm most looking forward to is we get more answers about Pam. Like, we don't know anything about Pamela other than she, lost her mind 20 years ago when Jason died, and she survived and hidden in plain sight, and all she cares about is making sure Camp Crystal Lake doesn't show back up.
I look at Pam. You know what I see? She reminds me of those ladies. She smokes about a pack of Marlboro a day. She goes down to the casino. She places on the slots, and she's sitting there. She works in the diner. One of the waitresses. Like, this is Pam. This is the Pam I got. She's at the laundromat. She's on church on Sundays, and then she goes straight to bingo. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. This is what I'm thinking.
My type of woman. Yeah, that sounds about right.
My biggest concern is nothing less to do with the show and more to do with the story in terms of, Bates Motel obviously wasn't canon to Psycho because Norman Bates, the spoilers, Norman Bates dies at the end of Bates Motel. So depending on the story approach and the timeline they take and how far they take the show, it may or may not be canon to the movies. Like, if they go into the movies and rewrite the movies and bring in sack mask Jason and rewrite the whole thing, it might not be canon. But if they stop by around the first movie or shortly before everything happened, or around the time like Jason, the mother gets killed, then it could be canon. You think of it this way, and like you realize it all depends on these factors could make it vary whether it's canon or not, and you'll have fans contemplating and message boarding about all this stuff. It's bound to happen. It's
Well,
not like Star Wars where necessarily it's Friday the 13th where you have complete movies that might not be canon to the other movies if you actually think about it. So
Swift,
it's
what do you think? That's a good point, Gabe, by the way, and thank you for that.
Yeah.
And Swift, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about this with Mrs. Voorhees, with this Pamela? This show.
I think it was a good twist, and it was a great twist, and it was very effective back then because from what I understand, Betsy Palmer was like a real actress, and she was like a little baddie back in the day, and then they brought her into this type of genre cinema, this type of film, and it really shocked everybody. But I loved it. I loved the way it played out, and I think she was just a heartbroken lady that went nuts. And I think as long as you weren't at the camp, I think you were good money. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I think you're good money. Once you go to Camp Blood, once you go to Camp Blood, it sets her off. It's like, yo, that's it. It's time to ride.
If you really think about it, it's an early Punisher adaptation.
So
because she was on a killing spree, avenging her son's death.
Absolutely.
How do you think this show is going to play out with this Pamela Voorhees show?
Oh, how do I think the show is going to play out? I think it's going to, and obviously none of us really know. I think it's going to delve deep into who she was before maybe Jason was ever born, and show little things that are kind of off. I kind of think it's going to go that direction. And then I think it's going to play out to Jason's probably going to be born at the end of the show or something like that. But I think it's just going to show how she's, listen, they might do it. She might be killing people on the down low already, and we don't even know it. Anybody that sets her off, it might go that way.
So like a psychological aspect of
maybe
her
she's autistic. Maybe she has
a point.
Yeah, maybe she's.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Sammy?
Sorry.
No, like thinking about like her upbringing, how she is and will be the way, her future will behold. What has caused her to become this possessive, controlling mother that, you think that she is for her son Jason, of course. But like what has caused her to like get to this point psychologically? Like, what is her backstory? That would be interesting to figure out, like, how.
The delusion and everything.
What caused her to be this so unbalanced as a woman, as a youth, as a child? What trauma has she gone through to evolve into that as an adult?
Or maybe her husband was abusive. It could
or that too.
Yeah. I think they definitely have to delve into the husband, and it's something that they don't really shine a big light on.
How about still Jason's father? Yeah. Did she even kill Jason's father?
Right.
Did she kill the husband?
Yeah. Did she whack him? Who knows, man? Because we don't even know what happened.
That would be a twist. Wow.
Or here's another twist.
What's up? Thanks for coming.
There is a sibling. Like maybe down the road, like maybe he had a twin, maybe, or some other sibling that caused her with the trauma, like an older brother or sister or whatever,
or maybe
trauma of what she went through with that sibling, her son, daughter, or whatever. What her psychological with Jason.
Yeah.
And there's many different ways they can go with this, many different routes they could take. But I think, honestly, ultimately, we're going to see Pam at like the core, who she is, who she was. If she maybe she was just this good-hearted person. Maybe she's the person that does everything for the community. She's at the PTA meetings. She's in church. She's doing bake sales. Okay. She's still smoking a pack of Marlboros. She's at the diner. She's still, according to Horror Film Queen, she's wearing those itchy sweaters. Oh my God.
That's what drives her crazy. Yeah.
Maybe it was a
Itchy
series of
sweaters.
unfortunate
Yeah.
events who brought her to where she is, not just
She's like a
that-
stepper wife.
God, those things are heavy. Cashmere,
things-
whatever it is. Oh my God.
And itchy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
itchy, man. I'm scratching like
those
a
grandmother sweaters. My
itchy.
grandmother had one.
Well, look, there are a couple things that we know about Pam that if they fudge this, it could really make or break the show. Pam worked we know she worked at Camp Crystal Lake.
Yes.
We know she worked there. Here's something that they don't talk a lot about. Jason was a special needs child.
Mhm.
He absolutely was. And so you have to put that frame of thought in your mind. How she raises Jason it's different than how you would raise a child without special needs. And so it's that she talks about my boy Jason was special. He was special. And so
boy. Yeah.
they have this
Good
bond.
point.
They have this bond, and she is so overprotective. She's probably so overprotective that she's got those screws loose already. And it's something you really have to pay attention and like kind of delve deep into the psyche of these characters. And I think that we're really going to flesh that out. I think we'll get some abuse from the father. She might whack, like you guys said, she probably whacks him. It makes perfect sense. And then she loses her special, my boy. And
She's her whole life.
It's wild stuff. It's heavy.
Yeah,
Listen,
it
I'm,
is.
I'm special needs in the sense that I have Tourette syndrome, but when I spent to special needs school for middle school, so I have friends who are obviously not as mentally there as I am, or I knew kids like that, and there's still a lot lacking in schools for a lot of these kids. So think about 50, 60, 70 years ago, how difficult it must have been for these kids with special needs
Man.
in a social world where not just kids, but adults themselves don't know how to deal with special needs kids. It must have been hell for him and his mother.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I almost sympathize with them, in that sense.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, you gotta. I feel like they're
yeah.
definitely in the show with Jason. Yeah.
I mean, they got to end it with how they lead into the camp.
Yeah,
wow. There you go.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I guess it would be fitting if they ended like where Friday in 1980 starts. Pretty much, and how they set up the whole camp and what's going on over there. Just lead right into that story. They have to. Because it would make oh my God, Elias beat he beat this.
Is Brian Fuller still involved, right?
Brian Fuller?
I'm asking.
He's the showrunner.
Fuller's not involved.
Good.
Fuller's not
Scotty?
involved.
Nope.
Really? Okay. Because
Nope.
I was going to ask, because I know most of his shows, including Hannibal, tend to have like a 3-season run.
Yeah.
So that's why one of the reasons I asked, because there's only so much story you could tell with this.
Yeah.
Tony's on another level tonight, boy.
Man. He's talking about domestic violence. This is why Jason came out. My special boy. Because Elias is taking off. Oh my God. Well, we don't know what's going to happen with this, but I'm excited to see some sort of Friday the 13th content again out there because it's been too long.
Me too.
This rights dispute, and finally now we got something going on over here.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Now, real quick, getting back to the franchise. I don't want Gabe's laughing over here. Get back to the franchise, guys.
I'm just laughing at the whole. That's why Jason came out the way he looks.
I know that.
I got a delayed reaction to that.
I know that's what you're thinking. I know you already. So
think the sloth from the Goonies.
Like the deformed, inbred, inebriated, redneck
Yeah.
kid.
Hey,
Mama
God.
Fratelli's like,
Karen.
I only dropped you once. Like, God.
Oh man.
We're like George Bush. I'm just kidding.
Oh shit.
well, it's a whole.
Bring us back, Jim.
We're coming back here. So all the films here, we're gonna go around the room. Swift, you're gonna start it up. Your favorite part, your favorite, whether it's sequel, the original or any other sequel, what is your favorite Friday and favorite moment? We're going to go around the room. Swiftly started up. And now I want to go to the fans. You guys sound off in the comments too. I want everybody out here that's still hanging with us a little bit. You know, we're reaching our norm here, 2-hour mark almost. I want you guys to let us know what your favorite part is, why, and or favorite moment of what Swift started up.
Okay. I gotta say, I love so many of them for different reasons, but I would have to say my favorite is part 3.
Part
I would have
3,
to say
3D,
Part
really?
3. Yeah, I would have to say part 3 is my favorite part.
It's because of
And
Shelley, right?
absolutely. Shelly, listen, I wanted to be Shelly. Shelly was cool to me. Shelly put the pranks on everybody. You know, to me, that was cool when I was a kid, you know? I was like, oh, yeah, I want to be like him. He's tricking everybody. He has the knife through the head, everything like that. He brought the hockey mask. You know, he's the MVP for that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But my favorite part, that's my favorite installment in the franchise. My favorite scene from the franchise, I would have to say, wow, that's kind of tough. You know what? I would have to say, and it's not from part 3. It's from Friday the 13th part 6. My favorite scene would be the face-off with Tommy Jarvis and Jason Voorhees.
Okay.
In Camp Crystal Lake, surrounded by the Ring of Fire.
Nice.
I would have to say that right there, that was like my favorite scene in the franchise.
That's good. All right. Awesome. Yeah, that's a killer scene right there. And, you know, part 3, to your point, we haven't talked much about 3 and 4 today, or even 2 for that matter, except for the wheelchair. You know, 3 is just, it's so underrated too. And Shelly's a gangster. Okay. He pulls it off in the gas station, man. Okay. With those guys, man. He
showed them.
I showed them. Yeah.
I showed them.
Pranks the way I am with puns. I don't stop. I'm like the skinny version of Shelley.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's great, man. He made that movie, that part. And then I just felt like it was forever that Dana Kimmel was running and that whole sequence at the end. I'm like, it's 7 minutes. She's still running. She's not out of breath. She's a marathon runner. What's going on here? But it's wild that ended. But it was a good one, part 3. So thank you for that.
Yeah, part 3 was good. Yeah.
Talk to me, buddy. What do we got? Favorite part, favorite installment, and also Gabe. Yep. No, the other Gabe. The guy right next to you.
I know. I
The other one.
I'm hearing things again. It's the voices outside my head I don't listen to. I never have one favorite, but I do have one favorite sequence, which I will tell you. But I will tell you my 3 favorite films are probably 3 of the most not as appreciated, or 3 of some of the most not as appreciated is A New Blood, 7, Jason Goes to Hell, 9, and Freddy vs. Jason. But there's just something about in that final battle between Freddy and Jason when you think that Freddy's got the upper hand, he's got the machete above Monica Kina and Jason. What's his name is I forgot his last name, and Jason sticks Freddy's severed arm through him, impales him with his own hand, and then Monica picks up Laurie picks up the machete, like, welcome to my world, bitch, and cuts his head off. Like that was like the most, regardless of how epic the whole series of sequences was, that was how I wanted to see that battle end. Some like where it wasn't a Deus Ex Machina. It wasn't just the two of them fighting and God lets it play out and like whichever epic way it goes, that the survivors have a hand in the end of Freddy. They have a hand in dispensing justice upon the man who destroyed their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
that was great. That was a great ending too. I actually really enjoyed Freddy versus that final. That was one of my favorite parts. But we're gonna go to Sammy. Sammy, favorite installment and or scene from the Friday franchise?
Correct me if I'm wrong with this. I believe it was 1980 with Kevin Bacon.
The Baconator.
Like I'm not gonna lie, I had like a little girl crush like with him growing up. And
Right.
when I first saw it, like again, I was like middle school freshman, and I'm like, oh my god, that's a horrible death. And
Yeah.
I'm, oh my god, I'm like, how they work through that. So I did like my little YouTube research and stuff, and the behind scenes of how they accomplished like his death, and it was mind boggling to me, like how they were able to do it, with Kevin
Savini.
Bacon and all the makeup and all the scenes. And yeah, that was just something that I definitely remember growing up.
So you're because you're Kevin Bacon girl.
I'm like Kevin Bacon girl.
That's
I'm not
it.
gonna lie. I was
You love
huge,
that bacon grease. I'm just kidding.
but I cried. I'm not gonna lie. I was like a very sensitive person when he died. Yeah,
Oh, so I got some tissues here so you bringing back some memories.
I need a tissue for my issues. I need a tissue for my issue.
So I guess it would be that scene and the original, the OG, would be your favorite.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely, because that
There you go.
was that makeup, that scene. I was just like, how do they make that work? And I
Savini.
actually did like the YouTube research and behind the scenes of
Mhm.
all the blood that he had to go through, just like sitting there, and he was like gargling everything. I'm like, oh, he's a very good actor. He's not just cute, but he's a good actor.
And then we get him,
Interesting.
and then he completely, up until recently, shits on our genre. Doesn't want anything to do with fun. And now you want something to do with it because horror's hot again, Kev.
Yeah.
I'm calling you out, okay? I'm throwing the
Well-
bacon on the grill.
Well, listen. Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I was listening to the to Killer Reactions, listened to the Killer Point of View podcast yesterday, and they brought up something that was deep. Like, you don't realize how many horror movies Kevin Bacon has been in.
Yeah.
Like, they were asking whose horror resume is better.
Yep.
Is
Stir
it
of
Kevin
Echoes.
Bacon's? Is it Kevin Bacon's or is it Ethan Hawke's? And listen, Kevin Bacon, man, the Baconator he's got some juice on there, bro.
Yes,
He
he
really
does.
does. Yeah.
Grease in there, man. He got
Bacon
some
grease. Yeah, not juice, grease.
Yeah, he's got some,
Yeah.
you got some
Jimmy,
grease. Grease.
Grease in you, man.
That traumatized me as a child, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, you're not only cute and dead, but I want to be like you. I want to act like you. You are a very good dead actor.
Well,
Character, but yeah.
it was that's one of those scenes that people still talk about too.
Oh, yeah.
From the original, and it started his career, so this was big for Kev, and now finally he's acknowledging again. Okay, I mean, Stir of Echoes, that's a whole other conversation. I loved him, absolutely loved him in Stir of Echoes.
Yep.
And the whole we'll talk about it another time. But Wolfman, here we go, buddy. Favorite installment and moment, the Friday franchise.
Part 4.
Oh, we haven't talked about 4 a lot.
Yeah. I love it. I think it is it's the most menacing Jason. Ted White's a step up from was it Richard
Brooker.
Brooker.
Yeah, it was in part 3. And Richard Brooker's great. I think they're all great in their own way, but something about Ted White. And Ted White was old. Like, he was pushing 60, I think. And
Gotta give him
he
credit.
just had this freaking menacing build, and the way he moved, and he was methodical. Like, so I love Trish. I like that core group. I love, you get Trish and you get Corey Feldman.
Yeah.
And that's iconic. I don't think that's my favorite group of kids. I think my favorite. I think the group that works the best is part 2. I think they just
Another one we haven't
mesh
talked about.
the
Yeah.
best
Yeah.
in part 2. And I think the group of kids in each film, they have their own charm. But I think part 4 is close second behind part 2 with the group.
Yeah.
You get Crispin Glover in there, and you get the twins. But there's just this like homely quality to part 4. You got the mom, you have Trish, you have Tommy. And I think my favorite sequence is Tommy killing Jason. Just hacking him, and
He
you get
loses
this
it.
because Savini comes back for part 4. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
he does part 1.
Remember the
skips
hand?
2 and
He cuts
3.
the hand. I
Yeah,
remember
the
him.
hand, and once he slides down the machete, his whole head's just like
That
coming
was
apart. And he still gets up. But a fun little side note. Ted White was very annoyed by Corey Feldman on set.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So
the
the
Yeah.
scene when he jumps through the window, like the breakaway window, he's like, dude, I went above and beyond, and they didn't tell Corey the timing of it, and he's like, I made it my due diligence to scare the shit out of Corey Feldman. He's like, because he was a little punk, and I had to get back at him, and so so once you know some of those stories, and you go back and watch them, and like he's so into it for like a legitimate reason. But I like that they inject Corey Feldman's character. It's a different point of view. Like he's a kid,
It's a killer.
and but he loves horror. Like he's making all the masks, and
He's
the
Tom
one that
Savini.
kills Jason. Yeah, he's a young Tom Savini.
Yeah.
But this kid is the one that defeats Jason, and that's a very 1984 thing,
The unsuspecting hero.
Right. You're getting to that point with Gremlins and the Goonies, and the kids can be the hero. I think that's a very new idea, like when part 4 hits. And so, granted, these films were marketed more for teenagers, but I think that I think Paramount and horror filmmakers started to realize like the slightly older kids are going into Blockbuster and sneaking into their horror movies and seeing Fangoria magazine.
Still, even in the early 2000s, like the Saw films, some of the biggest audiences were kids sneaking out, buying tickets to one movie and going to another movie to see the movie. Like Tobin Bell would say to the kids, "You saw this? You're not old enough to see this."
Right. Yeah. So I part 4, favorite sequence, favorite film, and that one kind of holds a special place in my heart. And I'm bummed that I never got to meet Ted White because he's the one. But they're all great,
Yeah.
That was very, very good, Ian. Thank you for that right there. Part 4, to your point, man, it was that time in the 80s where, like you said, kids could become the heroes. We got so many movies after that, Goonies, Monster Squad, and so on and so forth. But,
Lost Boys.
Lost Boys, yeah, Lost Boys. Corey Feldman,
Boys.
80s, all around. Corey was in so many for him and Corey Haim. And, this part 4, man, for me, that ending, it's tough, man. It's so tough because my favorite of the franchise, I've said this many times, is Jason Lives for numerous reasons. But
we missed CJ Graham. I'm sorry he couldn't make it.
Yeah, well, that was the whole thing because he didn't. Side note, nobody knows, but I can unveil it now. CJ was last minute. I was trying to get him on for like 5 minutes over here. I spoke with him briefly, but he's not able to make it. It was my fault. I should have asked him maybe a couple days earlier, but this is like an hour before the show. Hey, you want to come on? So didn't really work out.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Surprise.
Yeah, we'll get CJ on. We're gonna get some more people on these lives too. In the upcoming weeks and so, and stay tuned for that. But back to this real quick. Friday 13th here. As far as favorite moments for me, it's so tough because like
you want a piece of my chocolate bar?
I think you're really out of line.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, dude, think about it. Every movie in this franchise has just amazing moments. The original, the fight sequence at the end where Pamela Voorhees, it was so real, and then
It was
just amazing. That stood out to me. And then part 2, we get this sackhead Jason that, again, he's very real. It's not like the other Jasons that we got, and it's more ominous than ever because like it's creepy. Just you got the one eye open there, and that whole thing with Ginny and the conclusion of this one, another just great moment when he's sitting there and she's actually getting in Jason's mind, You know, part three. You know, we spoke on this one, Swift. What you brought up. There's a couple moments in part three that I enjoyed, but not like the first two. Like I just named part four, that ending. Part five. I mean, funny moments really in part five. I mean, Miguel Nunez in the bathroom and whatnot, and a couple other scenes. Six, so many great scenes for me. I love the entire film, but like you said, that Ring of Fire, that showdown, great. 7, when at the ending again, when he busts through the door, and it's like, oh shit, we messed up now, and you know, that was a good scene. Jason Takes Manhattan, so many good kills in that one. I feel like, you know, underrated one. The Rocker, we should have seen more of JJ the Rocker in there. We should have seen the dance floor with shout out to, what is it? Is it Kim? Is it Kim Hugh? Is her real name? I forgot.
Kelly Hugh.
Kelly.
Yeah.
The X-Men villain. X-Men villain.
Yeah. X-Men 2. She was Lady Deathstrike.
I thought she was in 3.
She was Lady Deathstrike.
Oh, she was in 2. Oh, 2, yeah. Lady Deathstrike, yeah.
So many, that scene, I love that. I loved her in there. And you know, Jason Goes to Hell, the ending. How can you beat like Freddy's glove coming out? Just that part right there. And it's, again, I can go on. You know, we just spoke about the fight. So overall, man, it's hard. It's hard to pick a favorite scene. But there's one thing that I think for me, it stands out, I guess, more than everything I just named right there. I guess the part where they're actually telling the story, the campfire in part 2. I don't know why.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dude, excellent choice.
Yes. Thank you. It's just a campfire story, because now we're saying, here's a story of Jason. And that's the only Friday the 13th, I believe, that had that kind of a campfire story.
It elevates it to that urban legend mythos.
Yes.
Is it real? It's
Yes.
very real, you know, for
also
them.
gave birth to that type of horror film.
Yeah,
exactly. And it's so, that part is so underrated, I feel like, in the entire franchise. It's not talked about enough. And, you know, again, so many great parts. It's hard for me to pick, but I guess that one, for me, it stands out the most.
Wait, that was in which one? Because I know they did it several times throughout the franchise, right?
They went back to it. They showed the sequence, I think.
They go back to that same sequence, but
part 7, I think it was.
You could pull that sequence and update it if they ever get around it, and that scene sets the stage for everything moving forward. Great,
that would
great
be a
picks,
scene
Jimmy.
to end the show on. That would be a scene to end Crystal
Mm-hmm.
Lake on, like setting up the like after all the events happen, and then they end the show on that scene. Yeah,
or just like, you know, or even in the beginning, what if they start the Crystal Lake thing with that?
Yeah, because we're telling the campfire story.
Yeah, we're telling, so guys,
Come
I got
closer.
a story. Have you heard Jason? All these.
Are you afraid of the dark approach?
Oh, shit. Hold on 1 second, guys. We're live here. Hey, see.
Done with your thing?
No, I'm still on the live right now, actually. Yeah, no, I'm actually on the live right here with the crew. I just we're talking 45 years of Friday the 13th, and you know, I'm literally talking on the live right here. I said, if you had 5 minutes to jump on it, I know I told you last minute. It's
Ooh, nice.
It was wild, but I just wanted to see if you I send you the link, if you could jump on for 5 to say hello to the fans.
I'm on a phone, so if I can get on the link, I guess I can try. But are you like videotaping, or what are you doing? I don't know.
Oh yeah, we're on a video thing, but you
broadcasting, broadcasting,
like an audio.
We
thing.
hear you.
Well, I can try. I mean, I'll do it real quick. But the problem is, sincerely, in 5 minutes, I'm going to have no connectivity because I'll be closer to home, and I lose my connectivity for 9 miles till I get to the house.
Okay.
So I can pop on. You're going to see me just disappear. If that's okay.
That's fine. Even 2 minutes, because we're about to wrap up in about 5 minutes or so, 5-10 minutes, so a couple minutes. Oh well, CJ might pop on. It might be
nice.
Oh look, see
I
you
think
live.
we
You never know what's going to happen.
It just he just we'll see.
Like
what
we said, better late than pregnant.
It's, God Almighty. Jeez. Well, yeah. See, this is my fault. See, I'm always waiting the last minute. You know, threw some things out. I did have one surprise, but I'm not going to say it, but because they might be on at another time. they
So
couldn't make it.
leave us in suspense. Don't tell us.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll see if he's able to jump on just to get on here.
I'll be honest, Jimmy. I didn't even know you had a podcast. I know you had like pages, and
Yeah.
so I'm glad I know. Swift sent me the info. And I'm like, thank you for. I would love to be on, and I'm honored because Jimmy, you've been so good to me since we worked together 2 years ago. So thank you.
No, you're welcome, brother. Listen, Gabe, you're very unique, man, in a good way. I say, man.
Thank you.
Every time you enter the room, it's just the room illuminates, man. So you're amazing, dude. Never.
I'm the
change.
opposite of Shelly. I actually bring joy as opposed to taking it away.
You guys are all amazing, man, and that's why I tell everybody here, this is a family. I'm looking at some of the comments. I wanted to see what we have as some of the
Yeah, let's see the comments. What are they saying about the remake? I want to know what they're saying about the remake.
Okay,
Scott, favorite kill scene is the guy walking on his. Oh yes,
That's
scene.
his hands.
That's
part
part
three.
I think.
Three. I think it was 3.
Yeah, that was part 3. Yeah, that was the kid with the yo-yo.
He hits so hard, you know.
Yeah.
You can just tell he just crumbles.
Oh man, whew.
Yeah,
that was nuts.
Favorite. Okay, yeah, part 3. The mask is good. So a lot of people seen that part 3 over here, which is wild because you got that and horror film queen part 3 because you watched just the 3D aspect.
Oh, dude, it's
that spear shot. His first kill with the mask kills me. Like that spear shot.
I love
the spear
couple at the beginning that have like a little convenience store and he's going in there like popping Sunny D open and drinking out or putting it back and he's carrying the rabbits and he gets
didn't the doctor tell you can't have that?
Yeah. He kills him in the shitter. Yeah.
What is that? I'm surprised at these responses.
Part 3 for sure. Jason with the mask. Yep.
Oh, hold on.
I love
guys. Hold on.
Here
you got the one and the only.
Hot damn.
Hey,
all right, guys. So, hey, I don't mean to butt in. Sorry about being late, but I'm driving. In about 5 miles, I'm going to get cut off because we have no transmission about 9 miles from my house because
just be careful.
I live out in the woods, if you know what I'm saying. So,
of course you
if
do.
I do just kind of drop off, it's not because I hung up on you. It's because I lost connectivity. So, how's everybody doing?
Everything's good, man. Good to have you.
Dandy.
I know you got a busy night with the campers. You know, it's camp season coming in here. See, so I get it, and I appreciate you taking the time just to pop in here, man. I thank you very much. We were talking about the entire franchise. Obviously, I know the go-to. I think you might have cut off, but your favorite has to be part 6, right? I mean, I can't imagine any other installment.
Oh, there are other installments? Holy crap! I thought there was only one.
That's it.
And that was it. What? There's others?
Yeah, there's just a couple.
Kane who?
Oh boy. Yeah. You know what I love about
CJ.
I will tell you that the only thing different I appreciate about mine is it was my first experience, but I get to be the only Jason that comes back to life like Frankenstein. I get to be the only Jason that has a 007 James Bond opening. The only Jason that has a Rock and Roll Hall of Famer, Alice Cooper, doing the music.
Oh yeah.
And I'm the only Jason that gets to wear a Batman utility belt. So I think I did pretty good.
Yes, indeed.
Badass.
Preach.
And you know what? I gotta say, like, because they talk about these other films, but I know part 6, and it's not overall, man. It was just something about the character, something about just you and how you maneuvered as Jason. Like it was more like Ted White. You and Ted White, very similar.
There are similar moments. Yeah, I think, and personally with part 6 for me, the thing that's kind of interesting, I get to tell young people that, some parents are being a little conservative, but I get to tell the young people, hey, there's like 2 swear words and no nudity. So it is a good starting point.
Absolutely. And you know what? Your part was the first with actually when you seen the kids at camp. There was no other, I don't think there was any other parts that had the kids.
Yep. And, true story for you fans out there. Tom McLaughlin called me 2 years ago. Remember the little girl that was in the movie on the cot? Little 5-year-old girl?
Yeah.
Yes.
She's in her 40s now, just so you know. She lives in Texas. She called Tom McLaughlin because her 6-year-old son wanted a hockey mask, but he didn't want one from Walmart. So Tom contacted me to get a more quality one. I signed it. Tom signed it. We sent it back to her in Texas, and she gave it to her 6-year-old son. So think about that.
Wow.
She was,
Aw.
8 years old in the movie. So
Wow.
That's
That's
amazing. You pass it on, younger generation. You got to keep it going, keep it
Yeah.
flowing here. And you know what? Speaking of Tom McLaughlin, I spoke with him briefly the other day. I mean, I'm hoping that we see another script here. Is there something on the horizon? Anything you thinking? Maybe because I got to see you one more time put on that mask, CJ. We all do.
Tom McLaughlin, I wish he could be given an opportunity because several years ago he wrote one, which is a contingency of part 6, which is Jason Lives is what he did, but this one's called Jason Never Dies.
Yep.
Wow.
And I've seen bits and pieces of his boards that he put together and what he envisions. And Tom is very creative in a different way. I sure wish one day he'd get the shot. But until the two forces of nature decide to come to terms, even no matter what the court says, because they still don't agree on anything. I think unfortunately that those two entities have forgotten what made him hundreds of millions of dollars, and it was you, the fans.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, CJ. You're absolutely right on that.
Yes,
and
indeed.
you know what? Let's put the greed aside. It's me saying this. Let's make something special here again. I mean, obviously there's a hunger for it. I don't.
Right. No, you're right.
It's a bloodthirst.
The next one would be part 13 theoretically.
I think we lost.
No.
I think we lost
He
it.
might be there.
We lost
Oh,
it. See.
man.
Give me a second.
He's still there.
It was
He's still
getting
there, though.
juicy.
Okay. Yeah. No, I know his service is sketchy. Well, I appreciate
got
it.
him?
To see.
Oh, there he is.
He's trying.
And no.
Oh man.
That was great.
Echo.
Leave him
All right.
there in case. Just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah, well,
Aw.
Yeah, he jumped
no,
off.
we
man.
tried. Listen, we got blessed with a couple minutes from CJ, and that means everything to me.
He's a good guy. I met him a handful of times. Very nice. Very nice man.
Last second, it was literally last second today, and for him to do that, man, we got
Yeah,
something.
it's
I got
dope.
something in the works for next year. I can't talk about, but yeah, it's about a year from now, so can't talk about it yet. But I know CJ will be involved in that. It's just, damn, man. I wish I wish I would have just had a little a little more time. I gave him a heads up on that. We would have had him on. Yeah. Hey, listen, Tony, it's gonna
Come on out, bro.
Yeah,
But
bro.
he's a real mensch. Just so you
Matter
know,
of
he's a
fact,
really nice guy.
When the stars align and this actually happens, God willing, we're all here, count our blessings every day. We get up in the morning, you got to, it's a good day, but we're here next year. Tony, you're coming out, buddy. Okay. And as my man in the movie, De Niro would say, okay. And Goodfellas, Tony, it's on the house. On the house. Okay. So I got you covered, man. You've been supporting since day one, dude. So I appreciate that very much. All those that have been Jay. I know another gentleman here, Jay Rogers, another guy that's going to get it.
Yeah, Jay Rogers.
Take it on me, 100%. You guys are amazing. It's all about the love, the passion that we have here. So looking at some of the comments, I was just happy that CJ had an opportunity, and he was right when he said it would be the 13th installment.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That is in itself. Friday the 13th, 13th. I mean, you got to go hard. You got to, so.
Yep.
It's
CJ,
CJ's
the Prince of October at Haunted House. Nice.
I've spoken to him before. He used to run a casino.
He did in California.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He told me about that years ago. I bring it up to him once in a while when I see him, but these are
Oh, cool.
I still ask him what is blackjack still the best odds in the house? He said, yeah. So I was right on that one. But
One of the great things about CJ, when you meet CJ and you get an opportunity, like a photo op with him in costume, he's in character. He won't break character. I've met him 3 or 4 times, and I've been killed by him like 3 or 4 times.
Nice.
And he manhandles you. Like, I mean, he grabs you by the shirt, like takes his machete, and I got one of him in the hockey mask. I have a photo with him. maskless, with his, they call it maggot head Jason, like when he first wakes up and
Yes.
he's got me by the throat. Like, I mean, and he is a strong son of a gun.
His grip is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You won't be disappointed if you get the opportunity to meet him and get a photo op of him in character. It's like you're actually dealing with the real deal.
So one of my last times at Texas Frightmare, I got a photo op with like 7 or 8 of the Jasons. No, or maybe 6 or 7 of the Jasons. It was Steve Dash, Kane Hodder, CJ Graham, all in character, all the Jasons in character and make and like everything. So CJ Graham, Kane Hodder. I think it was Richard Brooker. Who was the one who passed away last? Was it Ted White or CJ Brooker?
Ted White, I think was Ted White.
Yeah.
Was
it might have been Ted White. I don't remember which one. But and then they had Steve Dash. They had like it was like 6 or 7 Jasons all in Jason outfits. So because it was so expensive to get this photo op, my friends and I split it because you have like so many Jasons. How do you need one person for all these Jasons? You can have 3 friends in there and do a photo op with all these Jasons. So that was a cool photo op. So yeah.
I got to show you. I was looking at this. I don't know if you guys can see this picture. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's CJ right there, and that is legit fear on my face for the event that we did in Blairstown 2021. That was August 2021. I was terrified. The guy's grip strength, and it was a real knife, by the way. Yeah, because I didn't expect it. Like I thought we just taking a picture. He grabbed from he went like this. I'm like,
the first time Kane did that to me, I hurt my neck was hurting for like 2 weeks. First time Kane did that to me. But like he said it to me several times, but what I'm gonna do? Struggle and argue with him like he's Kane Hodder.
He
chokes you.
He choke you when you get a photo.
He used to choke you. Yeah, and then somebody pulls some funny business with him, so he doesn't do it anymore.
He won't do anymore. Yeah.
No. The choking.
Yeah.
The choking with a machete. The
choking.
He won't do the choke hold anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
He's such a nice guy. I don't know why anybody would do that shit with him. I'm sorry.
Right.
Everybody's looking
I'll toss out before we wrap up. I'll toss out a fun tidbit of information you guys may or may not be aware of. Part 2. There's a woman that portrays Jason.
I just saw her last week. Yeah.
I saw her a couple weeks ago at Chiller Theater.
Yeah, I was there.
You were? I was there. Yeah. I saw Swift there for a little while. So Ellen Lutter was her name, and she was the costume designer on part 2. And when they were filming the sequence, like right at the opening, where the stalker, they called him, is walking into the house to kill Alice, he steps off the sidewalk and starts walking up the street. They didn't have anyone on set. None of the, because there's like 3 Jasons, Steve Dash, Warrington Gillette, and they're like, hey, we need somebody to play Jason, and she's teeny little lady, and she wears a pair of jeans and some boots and steps off and walks off into the distance, and that's Ellen Lutter, and we had a female play Jason. So
thank you for that. I didn't even know that.
She was a sweetheart.
I didn't find that out until Chiller Theater last week, 2 weeks ago. I didn't even know that.
I didn't even know that. That's wild.
Yeah, I watched. I think last year I watched I watched part 2, with the cast commentary, and I think it was Lauren Marie Taylor that actually talked about that. If you watch the commentary, I was like, oh wow, I'd never heard that. So up until recently, a lot of people did not know that, and yeah, real cool. She was a great lady.
Damn,
interesting.
Thank you for that information. And I was wondering, like, what?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I never knew that, man. But listen, so many great memories and moments from the Friday franchise. And I'm happy that, we got an opportunity, all of us, to, just talk about it. This is something this is one of the greatest franchises. Look at the impact it's made. Look at 45 years later. 45 years later.
Crazy.
We're still talking about this. Okay. And it's still considered one of the greatest, if not the greatest, horror franchises of all time. It's made God knows how many amounts of money. CJ brought it out too. Like, why are we fighting over here? Let's just get something for the fans. The name. If they dropped a film, another Friday the 13th film, forget about it. People are going to go nuts. They're going to make billions. Like this franchise, all these decades later, all these years later, Still holding up, still strong, still, our go-tos. Late night, Friday night, Saturday night, we can't sleep. We're popping on a Friday 13th.
Yeah,
Let's make
it's still in demand. Still in demand.
Still in demand.
Yeah.
And it's still going to be. And to his point, also, CJ brought out a good point. The fact that the girl was 6 or 7 or 8 years old in the movie, that he was, the girl in the camp that was saying something. Now she's older now, passing this on to her kid. And this is how, you keep the tradition, you keep things going, you keep the history alive. And it's important. It's about the youth. Okay. We got to pass it along. And I think that's another reason why we're getting so many different remakes and so many other installments of older films, because now they want to keep that alive. They want to keep it, relevant still. And Friday the 13th, the fact that, some of these actors can go to a convention and still make money.
Yeah.
Some of them haven't done anything since the 80s and still have a fan base. It speaks volumes. And we need more Vor. We need more Vor. That's it. Voorhees. We need more Friday the 13th.
More Vor.
There's something special about film. There's an immortality to film that it will never die. Like even after the actor dies, even after the entire cast and crew dies, the film will be eternalized. The film is eternalized, and they'll be passed down to generations after generation. And there's actually a movie you guys should watch called Babylon. There's a whole monologue about that. Somebody says to Brad Pitt about how even when you're like a B actor, you will be immortalized on film. Like that's a special thing about film. People are immortalized in a sense.
Absolutely. But you know what, guys? I appreciate everybody that stood out again to the end of this. Shout out to everybody in here. You guys are amazing. Seriously.
And I want to hop in, if it's okay, real quick.
No, absolutely. I want everybody to give some thoughts. Go ahead, Sam.
I really, really appreciate that. It's like my first time hopping in on a live stream. Never done that before. And I really, really appreciate being on Horror 365 and just chatting and observing more so, just seeing how you guys work everything and listening and communicating with your fans, and I'm very, very grateful that I was able to be here. So thank you.
I know, Sam, thank you very much. And I know this is your first time doing this and jumping into I didn't even expect you to jump on into this live. And for those that don't know, I send out the link to everybody on the team. Whoever can make it, can make it. Sam, first day, Horror 365 final girl, first day.
The bar high.
And she's like, I'm here. What are we doing?
I'm here. I really want to work for it. I have no idea how to do this live stream. It's so nerve-wracking.
No, well, listen, I appreciate it. I know we appreciate it. You just got to get used to it. You got your feet wet today. There's going to be more episodes, different topics, different things that you want. If you want to jump on, you're more than welcome to. Definitely appreciate it, Sam. So thank you for that.
And let me tell you, Sam killed it. Sam killed it. First time.
Great
Great
job.
Sam slays.
Yeah.
Yes, guys.
By the way,
really
Sam, our friend
appreciate it.
Juliana's birthday is today. If you haven't hit her up yet,
Oh, I didn't know that.
just wanted to tell you.
Thank
Yeah. Since I got you here, I'll tell you. I texted her, messaged her already, but it's her birthday today. So message her when you have a chance.
Oh, I was supposed to do a photo shoot with her. I gotta see if she's okay.
Yeah, definitely do.
Thank you.
She's overseas right now. Sorry, guys. I just want to.
No, don't worry.
Gracias.
Happy birthday, Juliana. Is it you said?
Yeah.
She's
Juliana.
so pretty.
She actually she's a good friend of Damien's too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Juliana. And
Have a happy birthday overseas.
But yeah, man. And Gabe, speaking of which, man, dude, you jumped onto it. You wanted to engage it. You and I, we worked together before. Come on.
Times, yeah.
Got a little bit. But one time I got burnt on fire. You told me to go fuck off. And then,
I don't remember that, but I remember when your severed head was finally off after. And I put the head I left the head on the floor, and I did a selfie next to it. I said I got head on set.
you said I got
mannequin head. So
nice.
That was good.
But he had no hair. He's shaved head, so we didn't have to worry about the hair for the mannequin.
Yeah, no.
Live the great.
Gabe, you're awesome, man. Seriously, thank you for joining. And you're welcome anytime. Anytime. You're an extended family member, so you're welcome to join.
I would love to work with you on another film in the future.
Dude, yeah, we will. We will.
will, yeah.
You know, Ken. We'll talk after.
I'm going to see Ken later this month.
Yeah,
at the film festival
and yeah, which in New York,
in Harlem. Yeah, are you gonna go?
I
gotta buy my ticket.
I'm on. Yeah, so I was talking to him. So yeah, we'll talk for sure off of there. But yeah, we definitely got something. Scott, want to answer your question? Jimmy, hope you're doing something at the pizza shop. The 13th, dude. Actually, on the 13th, the theater, the Emmaus Theater. You guys get the exclusive right now. We're going back. We got different dates lined up throughout the year with the Emmaus Theater out in PA over here. So if you want, meet it down there. We're doing the double feature Friday the 13th on June 13th, 8 p.m. start time. It's 1 and 2, and
Horror 365 style, baby.
Oh yeah, baby. That's it. We got skits for you in the beginning and in the intermission. We have some raffles. The team's going to be out there. It's going to be a great environment. We're going to.
Where's this theater? If you don't mind me asking.
What's coming out there? It's in Emmaus, PA. It's called
Pennsylvania.
Yep, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's in Pennsylvania. Yep.
Eastern Pennsylvania. So yeah, if you can make it out, man, Scott, make it out there, man. It's gonna be.
If I do come out, it would probably be like overnight. I would have to stay overnight somewhere because I'm like a 4-5 hours.
Dude, yeah, you're far, man. You're in the island.
Yeah,
I don't want to tell
Long
you.
Island, New York.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
And Ian Wolfman, I know. Speaking of far, Jesus.
Listen.
I'm
sorry.
a Southern Belle down in Richmond.
Hey, I'm a Jersey.
Oh, he's in
girl,
Richmond.
And I will travel anywhere that you guys need me.
Listen, you got to watch those Jersey girls, man. Have gun will travel. That's what they say.
Oh boy,
I love Jersey girls.
Gabe, if anything, you can ride with me.
For sure, and I'll hit you up.
there you
Because I
go.
know we're supposed to get drinks this weekend. Let's work something out soon.
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's get together, man. We out here, you know.
yeah, 100%. And Ian, I'm gonna send a private jet for you. We have the funding and Horror 360.
You can make the film, but you're getting a private jet for Ian. I get the priority.
Appreciate it.
Well, Ian's worth it, man. Wolfman, come on. With the full moon, you might just hike here yourself. So
Yeah. I can claw my way up, man. Absolutely.
Come to Frida's. Yes, we got to do something there. Yo, Jimmy, Frida's is the spot. Yeah, that's the spot. Yeah, that's the spot.
Come on, the fusion, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Listen,
Let's
Nemo,
do it.
set it up. We'll do a live show there. I'm serious. We'll get something going over there, man. We'll get a screen out. We'll get a projector. We'll put it on all the TVs. We'll figure it out. We'll definitely.
Well, listen, man. Once they went viral on TikTok, man. Even a guy like me, a regular, I can hardly get in the place. So we gotta get Nemo to get on the job so we could get in there.
You're not a regular. You're irregular, like all of us.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely irregular.
Yeah, so Swift Street.
Right on.
I don't know.
Oh yeah. Yo, no, they got a drink called the Swift. They got a drink called the Swift. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh man, of course. Look at this.
Let's see.
Swift. They got it. You're there, so they got the Swift. It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, they got a drink called the Swift. Yeah.
And Nemo, listen, I'm down because look, I don't like to say it, but I'm going to say it out here. It's hard to find good food out in Pennsylvania. So I've been missing some New York food. Swift tells me how good the spot is. I'm going to come down there. I'll bring the missus. I'll come down there and we'll have a good time, man. And Ian, we got to get you up here, man. Seriously, we're going to get you up here. Don't worry about it, my man.
Yeah, Ian, we got to do it.
And stuff like that. But yeah, let's talk definitely about that because the thing is about doing more of these. We definitely have the theater stuff lined up, but doing some other events and eventually, bringing some talent. Got some dates coming up, man. I don't even want to continue to talk, but we'll drop it.
Let us know.
For sure, yeah, little by little. June 13th, mark it down. Friday the 13th. It's double feature, 8 p.m. Emmaus Theater. Horror 365 is in the building again, and we're gonna do our thing. It's gonna be it's gonna be a killer time.
We're gonna bring it.
Oh yeah,
like only could bring it.
I do want to say one last thing, if that's okay. A not selfish promotion because I didn't make this film, but I wrote a piano piece for a film that Ari Lehman was in, called Appetite for Sin. So I got to do the music for one scene for a film that Ari Lehman was in.
Gabe,
is Ari Lehman? Is he also a musician now or something like that? Did he become a musician afterwards?
He's a hippie musician like me. Like I said, I'm not a hippie. I'm
kidding. Yeah.
He's a good
Well,
For
guy.
everybody that doesn't know, that was Jason that jumped out of the
Yeah, Friday 13th. Yeah.
the lake at the end of the original Friday 13th.
He and I share a birthday. We have the same birthday.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
wow! Happy belated, Ari.
that's it. Happy
Nice.
belated, Ari.
I'll send this to him. I'll send this to him.
Yeah, Ari Lehman,
Yeah,
happy
for
belated
sure.
birthday, brother. And
Happy
Gabe, happy
birthday.
belated.
Yeah.
So that's true. I know. I told you the other day when I seen it over there. Yeah, man, you were rocking out, dude. I gotta say this before we wrap this. I know we've been trying to wrap it up in a sec, but you are talented, my man, on the piano. I want to get you. Yes, I want to get you doing a piece or something. Classical music is so soothing at times.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, actually, Dan Yeager from Texas Chainsaw 3, the Leatherface from that, asked me to write a piano piece for him and Brett Wagner's horror film, but they didn't end up using it. Director's choice. But and I wrote a piano piece for one of our Lehman's films that a bunch of Linnea Quigley was in and some other horror icons. So
Nice.
that was
nice.
And I actually played Halloween for John Carpenter once at Monster Mania, which was
Nice.
almost never got to
No way. You play Halloween? No, that's
I played
insane.
it for John Carpenter at Rob's at Cherry Hill. March of 2018, before the new Halloween came out, John Carpenter was there, and I played Halloween in the lobby on the piano. And my friend who represents him or is one of his agents or whatever said, "I'm gonna let you know when he comes in and just start playing it." And then he came and he cheered me on. The whole lobby applauded us.
That was amazing,
Wow.
man. That's a moment.
Wow.
That's
That
a
is.
moment.
I've got the video, but
Fantastic.
only from after he's already walking away. But it still was cool.
Awesome.
Still awesome.
Killer. Yeah, listen,
Nice.
we'll all get together soon, guys. I appreciate everybody here as always. Before we go, I got a plug. We have our show.
Yeah, we
sponsor.
got plugging to do, man. We got some plugging to do.
Sorry, I can't wrap it up yet, baby. Don't wrap me up. It's not going down yet. Keep it flowing. So, a show sponsor here. I want to talk about the gentleman Ghost Shadow. So, it's a paranormal. It's called RIP. It's God, what is the breakdown on this? He's going to kill me. All right, I'll give you the breakdown right now. Okay. Ghost Chamber. Ghost Chamber, RIP, reflective isolated photography. It's a tube camera. It's a gadget for ghost hunting and paranormal investigations. It captures dependable paranormal images. I got the links in the description. If anybody is on paranormal investigations or interested in going into any, in that field, whatever, check out this device. Now, okay, it's a little bit late, so I guess I could show you a picture. When I first seen it, and I told him, I laughed a little bit because kind of looks like something. But ladies, don't get excited, ladies. Okay, we're talking.
That's not what that's not what I was thinking. It looks more like an alien pod, like something that you put like a tube.
But it can,
Alien movie. I'm thinking alien pod.
It does look like an alien pod, but I was like, okay, maybe my mind's always in the gutter. But anyways,
Usually it's
You're from the gutter.
Ghost Chamber. No, my man, listen, honestly, I seen the video, and if you go to the YouTube, I'm going to put that link in there. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat what he got going on over there. So it captures some of the footages that I actually seen that he sent me was unreal. So, it does work, and I'm getting one for myself.
That's awesome.
I don't like paranormal investigate. Like I'm like a little bitch when it comes to this stuff with the ghost. Okay, definitely ex Lawrence or
paranormal. With that stuff is the paranormals.
Dive into that because you know what? I can't see it. I don't know. I can't even fight it if I wanted to. So I just feel like they're gonna jump in my body and I'm gonna jump in the line like Beetlejuice or something. I don't know, man. It's just weird.
I got that.
Yeah. So either way, check this out if you're into paranormal. And I just feel like this is one of those devices that you need to have. If you're going to go on an investigation, go to Gettysburg, anywhere haunted, you need one of these things. It connects to the phone. He breaks it down. Links are below. Shout out to Ghost Chamber, Joe Damari. He's going to be on the show actually a couple minutes next week. He's going to explain this and break this down. So I'm going to have him on here about it. So I appreciate that. And if anybody out there knows, if you want to sponsor the show, be a part of the family in that capacity, hey, we appreciate each and everything you got going on. If you need us to plug something, promote something, reach out to us. Just send us an email, horrorheads365@gmail.com. And any questions, anything you want to talk about, boom, send it there. Shout out also to the author. He sent us an email, James Watchin. I know I'm messing up that last name. Forgive me on that. Like I said, the book that's coming out, it's Ian. It might actually be a lot up your alley too. I will talk about that, man, with this book. Yeah, man. So I'm interested I'm definitely getting a copy. Comes out Friday the 13th. The Restless Few. I'm going to put that also below. And check out all these horror heads over here on social media. Links are going to be below after we do this live. And if you haven't done so already, what are you waiting for? Bang! Click that subscribe button. If you're on the YouTube, baby, youtube.com, horror365 alive.
Hit the like. It's free.
Yeah, it's free. Listen, free 99. Free is me.
Free
is for me
fitty. Free
too.
fitty.
Yeah.
It's free. Free is me. Free is you. So you know what to do. That's it. Just click the subscribe button.
One sec before we out of here.
What we got?
Oh, before we're out of here.
Swift got something. What do we got?
Let's let Gabe tell everybody a little bit about himself.
Okay.
Gabe, talk to the people. Tell them a little bit about yourself, man. You're an interesting guy. Yeah, absolutely.
After hours. Well, I'm looking at the background over there, Gabe.
Oh God!
This is after
well,
hours.
usually, so I actually have it's a horror movie museum with a side of half naked girls. Most of them are friends of mine. I have like mannequins displaying movie props over here. I don't know if I'm gonna be able here. It's like wardrobe pieces for movies and stuff. That's from Zendaya and my friend Eva's movie. Like I have some stuff over here too. I just sold stuff. I collect Screen Used memorabilia and Screen War memorabilia. So I have stuff used in Wolf. I sold stuff used in Wolf of Wall Street. I had saw traps. I had a puppet on this tricycle until yesterday when I shipped it because I sold it. A saw puppet. I had Freddy gloves, saws, prop weapons, some Screen Used weapons. I have Sarah. I have Scarlett Johansson's test pistol from Iron Man 2. It's a prop.
Wow.
Nice.
I have here. This is a saw signed by Tobin Bell. I collect this stuff. And this is Robert Englund's bust from the movie Fear Clinic. My friend made the movie. I actually dated his ex, who stars in it with Robert Englund. And I actually have, if you look behind the Saw movies, actually that's original sketch drawings from Spiral from the Book of Saw, some autographs, posters. Awesome. I have more over there, but I also have, it's not just horror, it's women too. But I have a lot of books. I'm a collector. Yeah. So, but I used to have a lot more horror stuff, sold a lot of it, but I'm getting more. I actually have some documents here I just bought from the Saw director. So I haven't displayed all of that yet.
When we do the Saw conversation, I'm definitely bringing you on when we have the Saw conversation.
The collector.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you don't understand. The actors spoke about the actors and the crew I know more about the films than they do. I know.
No,
I was on the Saw cruise with the actors, and they were blown away about how much I knew. That when I didn't win the trivia contest, they were all shocked. But Mark Rawson from Saw and Shawshank and Lethal Weapon spoke about me on the news. I was interviewed in the Toronto Star 2 months before the cruise. I'm good friends with a lot of the actors. We've gone out to lunch and meals and in LA when I'm there. I did the Saw director Darren Bousman had me at his house.
Darren Bousman,
he's a good friend. I actually spoke to him this week because I bought some stuff from him. But I grew up on horror since I was a little kid, but it was Saw that I had a favorite slasher franchise that was Friday the 13th when I was a little kid. Yeah. I had a favorite zombie movie that was Day of the Dead, but I never had one favorite horror movie until the first Saw in 2004.
Yes.
We're definitely going to get you on for that, Gabe. You do a lot of other things as well. You edit.
I speak and breathe movie references and puns, but Saw is my will forte or forte or whatever forte you want to say.
There we go. But no, I appreciate you jumping on, Gabe. You and Sam, thank you both so much.
Thank you,
definitely.
Yeah,
Sam,
thank you for letting me be a newbie in this whole realm, and I really appreciate me observing and being a part of this whole collaboration. It's
only the beginning, Sammy. It's only the beginning. And then you got the other two.
Day
girls.
One.
Yeah,
day one.
Creepy Betty and Black Dahlia, the final girls, Horror 365 final girls. A lot coming up.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be killer.
Yeah.
And Wolfman, we're gonna be talking about some of the stuff you got going on down the line. What we are got in the cauldron over here. We're brewing.
Big things brewing.
That's what I'm talking about. Swift.
Can't wait to get Wolfman back, man.
And we're halfway to Halloween now.
Yeah.
Yes, halfway to Halloween.
A lot coming up.
And check out, listen,
Thank you
check,
again.
everybody, check out the Monster Archives. Ian busts his ass doing the work on that, and it's a wonderful podcast. So much information. It's his encyclopedic knowledge of the Universal monster films from the beginning of the talkies all the way through. Go listen to it. It's great stuff.
And also check out my podcast, Symbolistic Cynicism, on the Indie Escape Network.
How the fuck do you spell that?
Okay.
What are you doing?
My last
Come on, man.
so
I need
my
better
name,
right. I'm doing a puzzle here. What are we doing?
So it's my last name, but with an IC instead of an A.
Okay.
And it's Cynicism. Just type in the Indie Escape Network on YouTube.
Indie Escape.
And, I'll send you the
Indie
link.
Escape Network.
And in the playlists, my episodes are called, it's a play on my name, Symbolistic Cynicism. So I have the Saw director on, I have Monica Keena, Star Freddy versus Jason on, I've had tons of actors and celebrities on. And I even had adult film stars on. So check it out. I'll send the link your way.
Send me the link so I can put it up below.
Symbolistic Cynicism. Check them out.
Just say that 5 times fast.
Gabe's a pretty cool dude.
I try. Thank you, Sammy. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're all right.
I'm so right. I'm so right.
And you know what? Also, Gabe, you're talking about the camera work too, man. I was on set with you on Ken's project.
Yeah.
Man, you really made the set even more delightful, to be honest with you.
Camera. Also, that was my first time working on a movie where I was the cameraman that I wasn't using my camera. I was using Cameron's. Yeah. So he was very supportive and helped me out and got me used to his equipment. He's a good guy, by the way. Shout out to Cameron. He's a good cameraman. Great dude. As was what's his name? I forgot his name. But that was a fun production. Ken is a great guy to work for. He's passionate about his film.
Oh yeah,
I can't wait to see it. I can't wait.
I'm excited. All the awards it's winning. I'm very proud of everything. Being a part of the team and what Ken's vision. It's seen it come to life, and I know it's only a matter of time before he turns into a feature, and it's original, and we have a great, like, you guys are awesome. Cast and crew was absolutely amazing on that. So once it's done, once it's actually out there, we're gonna get Ken back on, and we're gonna do something. I don't know if it's gonna be pre-recorded or live or whatnot. Probably live. I like doing these lives are awesome because it gets everybody interacting, and I appreciate everybody watching. We do have some pre-recorded stuff like this Friday. Ian, you and I. We got Doug Tate coming on. We're doing an interview with Doug Tate at the end of the month. Swift, and I don't know who else is going to be joining, but we have Gigi Guerrero coming on.
Really?
Yeah, we're gonna be having a conversation with her at the end of the month. So things are gonna be, we'll drop that. That's a lot of the pre-recorded stuff because I like to edit, overlay it with certain things. And there's not a lot of pressure too for people when it's live, when it's not live, I should say. But yeah, guys, I know I can babble forever. I want to wrap it up. We're going to 2.5 here. I think the longest show we did. I love it, but everybody's like, "Come on, Jimmy, wrap it up, baby. We got work tomorrow. It's Wednesday night." You know what I'm saying? So thank you all. Seriously, thank you everybody that's tuned in, that stayed a part of this to the end. All the viewers here, and of course, Swift. So, look, Mama Swift popped it up there. She got it. She's on fire, Mama Swift. Shout out to Mama Swift. You are.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mom.
A woman possessed tonight, Ma. You are popping.
Ma, you're the bomb.
All these links up there. There it is. Thank you. She has. Oh man, you got to check those comments out. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it. Swift, Swifty Cent for.
This is just so you know, that's a link to just one of my shows, but that works too.
Got it.
Okay, awesome.
Got it, guys. We're gonna sign out of here and. For Gabe, for the Wolfman, Ian, woo! For Sammy Joe, for Swifty Anesthesiologist,
Sammy Joe,
Jimmy J.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, celebrating horror. 365, baby. We're gonna see you next Wednesday. Stay tuned.
Yes.